All right, all right. What's going on, party people? Yeah, I'm running a little scotchy late here, but we good. We good. We good. We good. All right. So, oh man, I was running, running today. All right. So, give y'all a second to pop on up in here and everything, and all of that. So, all right, people popping on up in here quicker than I expected. What's going on, party people? Yeah, yeah. Sorry being a little late. I had to help my oldest out. My son, he's doing a notary business, so needed help with one of the scan with doing a scan back and getting some stuff set up with his upcoming signing. They was able to bump it from 6 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So he actually had yeah, he had actually reached out to them early and to the signing company, but the signing company never got back with him. So I told him, I said, okay, then you're gonna have to make a decision and see if the signer is going to be able to do it early. If they can, go for it. Now, with people who have the mobile app companies where they're tracking what we're doing in the mobile app, you most definitely need to make sure you get clearance through them, because sometimes if you have to like check in with the app and you're checking in at 3 o'clock and the sign is at 5 o'clock, they're gonna be like, hey, what's going on here? You didn't clear that through us. So this company didn't have to have the app thing. So I said, you already informed, asked them. They never said anything. So go ahead on and talk to the lady. Then that way you can get everything shipped out. Plus, he got to drop them off to UPS, which is right around the corner from the house. So he'll be good to go there and stuff. So and everything. So really appreciate y'all hopping on here. I didn't know if I was going to even be able to do it today or it's going to be a late night, you know, Fritter Friday, with some soft, 70s music and some dim lights. What's going on, Shannon? What's going on? Okay, okay. And my man Caprinas out there in California. Yeah, me and him had a good conversation last week and everything. So love chopping it up, especially with the fellas, because I'm always talking to the young ladies, but it's good to talk, to chop it up with the fellas and everything. So let me sign in over here on YouTube and get all of that together. All right. So what's going on? Miss Chanela. I hope I said that correctly. Y'all know I be jacking folks' names up, so give me some latitude on that and everything. All right. We popping over here on YouTube and stuff. All right. So that's looking good. And y'all hit that like button, because y'all know I ain't one to be asking for likes and stuff, but for whatever reason, YouTube, if people don't hit the like button, YouTube will not push it out, the notifications. I have no idea. And what I'm learning is that, like, if you don't hit the like when you're looking at a video and then another video comes up by that same person, if you need anything, hit me up. If you don't hit the like button, then they won't send you notification. It's weird. I don't know, again, that mystical algorithm thing. Almost like SnapDocs with the algorithm thing. And I guess y'all can hear me okay. I had my microphone a little too far away. All right, I think, yeah, we should be good to go there. So, hold on. Forgot one thing. All right. My bad. I had to get my water. Told you I just ran in the house, helped him out, and hopped right into doing this. Bam. And you know I got to have the fritter. Okay, ain't no Fritter Friday without some kind of donut and everything. So had to heat it up real quick. And just to be on the safe side, I'm glad I did. I got my fritters yesterday. So got my napkins. We good to go. All right, all right. So man, oh man. Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah, you got to turn. That's right. I'm glad you said that, Q, because sometimes you have to turn the alerts off and then back on. Okay, remember that. All right. So let me hit the link in here in case anybody got any questions. We're going to chop it up and all that good stuff. We got the winter storm coming here. I had did a quick post a couple of hours ago when I was finishing up one of my last house inspections, and they got trucks everywhere down here. They got the trucks everywhere. So that tells me that they're expecting the power to go out in our area. So I'm probably going to have to test out my fireplace. It's a gas fireplace. Probably have to test that out, make sure that's working good. I got heat back up for my pops in his room because he don't like being cold. So I got heat back up for him. I got to finish doing that this evening. Double check one more thing with that. And we got plenty of food, waters, all that kind of stuff. I just went to my place. You know, I need to pull that up so y'all can see because I mentioned it last week. And it is a very, very nice Japanese restaurant. If I can find it, but yeah, so I got all that stuff, and yeah, I'm a little all over the place right now. I don't even know if they have a website. They probably don't even have a web. Oh, they do have it. They do have a website. Yeah. All right. Let me share this out with y'all real quick. This is one of my favorite places to go grab a quick something to eat. Their stuff is on point. Yeah. So yeah, they got the chicken teriyaki now. It's not $4.99 right now, but it is very, very good. And you can tell they were so excited to put it up. They still got the ladder there. They still got the ladder in the picture with the drills and everything. They still, that's how happy they were to open this business up. And it is a very, very nice place. The folk there are excellent. As y'all can see, the food is it's on point. I'm serious. The food is excellent. You know, I actually do the chicken teriyaki rolls and I do the sweet potato rolls and all of that. And I just went over and got me some and everything. And so Wanda Boy, they want Miss Kimberly Dawson wants you to give her a call. All right. So now that that's done, all right. So I just want to show that. But let me show y'all something real quick. Let me see here. I need to show y'all something to help y'all out with all right. So let me show y'all something. How okay, a lot of people hit me up trying to asking me about videos that I've done. You know, videos, hey, do a video on this, do it. And a lot of times I've already done the video. And the thing is, and this is just people. This isn't a good thing or a bad thing. This is just how individuals are. And let me put the link in the chat there. So if anybody want to hop on, there's a StreamYard link. You know, people come into the middle of what we're doing here on the channel, and then they're like, hey, I heard you say something. Can you do a video about it? I heard you. And a lot of times I've already done videos on it. So if you're trying to find a video that I've already done, what you can do when you log into your account, all you got to do is just search Griffin Notary, and let's just say printer. You do this, and it'll come up with videos that I've done about printers. Now, of course, it's going to bring up other people's stuff, but if I have the word printer, printing, I guess something, I'm talking about printers, it'll come up. Like somebody in the comment section asked me about rental car, Griffin Notary, rental car. Okay. This is how you find the videos. So all you got to do is just take a little time. How long do I plan on being in the notary industry? All right. Now, random videos, you be asking these random questions. I'm just going to be straight. You be asking these random questions. I can't say how long I plan on. The question is, how long do you plan on being in the notary industry? What are you looking at doing for us? How long do you think you're going to be? Because how long I decide to be in, I can't say. I honestly can't say, but I will say that if you think that you're going to be in here at least 3 to 5 years, then you need to take this industry serious. You need to take what we do serious. It's that simple. But how long do I plan? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. So if you're looking for a video that I've done, split signings, there are videos out there that so you just got to look. Okay. Now it might be buried in something else, but they're out there. So if you're trying to find a video that I've done, just the Griffin Notary split signings, Griffin Notary, or whatever the topic it is for that video, and you'll find it. If it's out there, if it's out there, it's out there. Okay. So it pulled this up because it had the word loan in it. Loan mod. People keep asking me about, what do you think about loan mod? It's right here. That's what I'm saying. If you look for it, it's out there. Okay. I'm not trying to be funny, but it's out there and everything. I did a loan doc training with her, and then they just throw in other videos and stuff like that. Okay. So, so that's how that works. Okay. So today, what's going on, Christina? Yeah, y'all hit that like button. Appreciate that. So what I wanted to talk to y'all about as I engage into another piece of this fritter. That thing is really good. It's a big fritter too. That thing is nice and moist. I like that. Right on time. How to be a great notary. Me and my wife was talking about this morning. Just being good or great in anything. The number one way to be a great notary is that you got to sit down and do some research yourself. Starting, as I've always shared with y'all, about right. I didn't, yeah. See, okay, here's the thing. You gotta give me clarity on what you're asking. So when people say, hey, did you do a video or do a video on this? That doesn't tell me that, hey, my car broke down, I need help, boom, 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 boom. That makes me okay. Now because I'm thinking you're asking a question just in general. So if I think you're asking a question in general, I'm gonna give you a general response. If you be more specific and say, hey, my car broke down, I want to know about renting another car. That would have right then I would have been like, oh, okay, I need to get with you. I would have said, hey, call me and let's talk now. So, and I've talked about this in the video called Business to Business Communication, is that for me, okay, I don't know about other human beings. If you want to get the correct answer from me or get a good solid answer from me, I need information. I don't try to read people's minds. So if something came up and you say, "Hey, I want to, ask about, I think somebody asked about the scanner. I hope I answered the question correct." People ask me about working with different signing companies and this, and I need the details to understand what is specifically you're asking. So if you say, "Hey, I my car broke down," that's going to garner a different response. And I'm going to be like, "Hey, let's get together and let's figure this out. Let's see what we can do to help you get going." But if you just say, "Hey, did you do a video or do you have a video about this?" Okay, because but at the same time, my video would not have, like, I don't think it really goes deep dive into like the individualized process to do that and everything. So in short, you want a car for your business, you go there, rent one, find one that's affordable, do it through your business account or through your business name. Well, you can do it personally, but pay for it, because sometimes when you try to do it with your business name, it gets cracking, it gets messed up, and you still got to put your individual name on the account, driver's license, all of that, show insurance and all of that, and then you pay for it out of your business account, and everything. Yeah, so just and this, y'all know I love helping y'all, but to help me to help y'all, I need the details. If I get the details, boom, y'all know I'm on it. Y'all know I'm on it. I'm sitting here looking. Y'all didn't tell me I had this icing on my thumb. So, um, to be a great notary starts with you studying and understanding the craft for yourself. Because when I look at some of the good notaries out here and even the great ones out here, um, what I see is that they are they know their stuff. Some of them think they know their stuff, but for the most part, they know their stuff. Okay, they know their stuff, and they're able to go out here and make some things happen. So if you plan on being a great notary, because the cool part about this business is that you can actually run it independent of anybody. You don't need a meetup. You don't need any of these group things that we're doing. They're all helpful. And again, see, here's the thing. Every time I say something, people think that I'm being anti this. I'm not, because many of the people who are running these programs and running these get-togethers, they did it by themselves and became very successful without ever having a notary meetup, without ever having a notary anything. They just went out and did it. Okay. What I'm asking y'all to do is do the same. Just go out here and run the business. And a lot of us won't do it until we've had 5, 6, 7, 8 kind of meetings and get togethers and conferences. And then it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to do the business. And you've expended a lot of time and resources, financial resources, and when are you going to do the business? So at the same time, in some cases, depending on the person, it can be a hindrance, because it's like, well, I ain't going until I do a meetup. Okay, well, you met me. Now what? Now what are you doing? Okay, between now and the next time you see me, what are you doing? So to be a great notary, you got to understand what you're supposed to do as a notary in accordance with your state law, as I've always shared. You got to go out here and know and take ownership of it, because when you know, then nobody can deter you and have you going in a direction that your state or even yourself wants to do. So it's very, very important that we as individuals go out here, and here's the link if anybody want to hop in and ask a question. And you can ask me any question you want. If you agree, disagree, want clarity on something that I've said, want clarity, I guess maybe on something someone else said, I'll see what I can do. Because I don't get a chance to look at a whole bunch of other YouTubers, especially notaries. So I might not be able to, I can't really tell you what they meant or thought of, but I could give you my opinion maybe. Um, And I don't, and I do that loosely because I don't want to try to hurt anybody's feelings or anything of that nature. Um, but if you're trying to be a great notary, you got to take ownership of what's up here in your head and not just based off of what someone else said. And we can take the information that someone else said, but we need to make sure that they're giving us references. So it's no different than in school and you write an English paper and you wrote a paper, the teacher, the instructor, the professor wants what? References. They want to be able to cite the source that you got it from. In the notary business right now, in my opinion, there are a lot of people sharing information, but they don't have sources for you to cite. You go and look and it's like, okay, you said that, but where did you get that from? And I do everything that I can to differentiate what I believe is, what I have learned. And I try to give you resources and point you in the right direction versus what I personally feel. Okay, I think this, I think that. Um, chirp, chirp, chirp. Oh, see, you putting that chirp up there. Oh, Caprinas, when you said chirp, I thought you meant this chirp. Maybe you do. Yeah, the thing called chirp is for your back and everything. And because I know I've been having some back problem right there. Chirp. So that's what I thought you meant. When you put that up there, I was like, oh, okay. How do you know I got a chirp? Good stuff. So it's very important for you to take ownership. And what I've learned in my business life, just life in general, but especially my business life, is that when I've taken ownership to understand and learn what I need to for whatever role that I'm playing, things came out a lot better. So even in your W-2, you can depend on all of these people telling you what you should do. But when you go and research it and look it up for yourself, that's when you can find out whether or not you understand it and you know. So that if anybody ever challenges you on it, and throughout this notary business, I have been challenged multiple times, you have something to stand on because you cannot just stand on the words of another person, whether mine or any other notary person out here, no matter how great they are. That person who's challenging you or questioning you or trying to get some information from you may not know that person. Therefore, you saying, well, I'm doing this based off of what I was taught over here. And if they don't recognize or respect or look at that that person as a source of authority in the notary world, then they're like, who is this person that you're listening to? Because what you did is not in accordance with what we want, or it may not be in accordance with state law. So you have to be able to stand on your own. And that's the number one thing that I've always shared with y'all. I want y'all to be able to stand on your own because you may get out there somewhere, no cell service, no internet service, and you got to be able to stand on your own on the decision that you made on whether you should or shouldn't notarize a document. And then when you get back within the cell phone range and internet range and you let them know, hey, I did this or I couldn't do this, you need to be able to stand on that and say, this is why. And if you can't, and if all you can do is reference some person, and I'm not talking about just the NNA, because some people don't even respect the NNA. Okay. They don't even respect them and stuff. So it says here, yeah. And I saw that, Jasmine. Hold on, let me get back to you. Now, when you saying other side of the closing table, if you're talking about being a title company or a closing company, running a closing company and all of that, it still falls in line with this here. If you're not a good notary, if you don't know, I see you, Jeff. If you don't have this down pack as a notary, how in the world can you actually back up and support other notaries when you've been flimming, flamming, and hemming and hawing and not doing the job correctly? And then you're talking about being a closing company and dealing with notaries across all 50 states. Not that you got to know all 50 state laws, but you have to have stuff in place that will support all 50 notaries. And it can't just be a thing of, well, I got these 15 clients that really want this done. So notaries, you just do it and have them doing stuff illegally. That you can't do that. So it's a lot of people that's on one side of the table trying to jump on the other side because they think they see there's more money on that side, but there's a lot more responsibility, and you have the responsibility of that notary. On this side of the table, it's just you in the state. Now you're talking about I'm directing thousands of other notaries dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue and properties. You better make sure that you can handle making sure that those notaries do their stuff correctly and that people aren't having them to do things incorrectly and stuff. So let's bring on Jeff. What's going on, my man? Let me
How's it going?
want my speaker set up because I know
Can you hear me?
The right one. There we go.
Can you hear me, or am
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to come on because I saw you're live and say hello.
Yeah, you're not.
I hear what you're saying about this stuff. Hey, I'm getting calls now from other notaries around the country asking me about witnesses. I'm like, this lady called me from South Carolina and said, "Hey, I need to get a witness. Can you handle that?" I'm like, "I'm in California."
Yeah. They're calling you to be a witness.
Well, she was asking about if there can be some witnesses that were uh that you could do it over a Zoom or over the phone. And I said,
Oh,
I don't know. You need to find out what your state says about that, you know?
man. Look, let me step on that for a second.
Yeah.
And I think I briefly talked about this several months ago and I sort of forgot about it. But yeah, I had heard reports that notaries was literally taking orders that required a witness, using their phone and saying, "Okay, Sean, you see them signing? You see, I'm FaceTiming with them. See them signing? Okay, good. You saw them signing. Bet. All right. I'm gonna be to your house in about 30 minutes after this for you to sign the thing saying you witnessed." You better find out from your state. You better find out from your state, people. See, that's I mean, you best find out from your state.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I called, so she wanted a witness. And I said, "I know somebody in South Carolina. Let me call her up and at least she can get you hooked up, or find a notary if she can't do it or whatever." And so she gave me a list of notaries to call. And then I call her back and she goes, "Oh, I just wanted to know if I could do it over the phone." I'm like, "I just went through all that work because you said you had a closing that need a witness." So I'm
Mhm.
doing all this work to help her out and to find that out. But this notary I called, she said, "Yeah, you have to be in person to be a witness." So, you know,
Okay,
so
now I don't understand random videos how me being a notary helps me in buying real estate. Um, so you're saying using being a notary as a stepping stone to get into buying real estate or being a real estate investor? Honestly, unless somebody else know, I can't really see the correlation just because you're a notary, because you can't notarize your own closing documents and stuff like that. And you may not, and may not necessarily garner you the necessary connections. And again, as I said, see, this is a thing where you said on the other side of the table, the other side of the table for being a notary signing agent is being a signing company owner or a title owner, something like that, or a trainer. I don't see the correlation of being a notary in order to go into being a real estate investor or even just to buy your own house. I don't see how that supports that. So you see that you should have clarified that from the beginning because I have no way of reading your internet chat mind on what you was talking about. So again, I see it one way, I answer it that way, And then you say, well, oh no, I was referring to this. Let's lead with that. Okay, let's lead with that the next time. Or this is what I'm referring to, so that I'm clear on it. Which my answer would have been what I'm giving you now, is that I don't see the correlation. If there is, if you see a correlation, then please let me know, because I don't see the correlation in having a notary commission that's going to lead me into being some kind of real estate investor, or empower me to buy a house, unless I'm making a whole bunch of money and I don't, from that perspective, all of that and everything. But yeah, people was doing that, man. And because people asked me that and I forgot all about that. Yeah, you got to find out from your state, what is your state requirement. And I have not heard anybody, any company say that they are okay with us doing FaceTime with somebody. Because see, even with, I mean, of course, you got to personally know you don't have them in your logbook. You ain't got, I mean,
I think the
and,
only way is if you're doing Ron or something, right? Because you
right,
can get those people on there.
right. And then there's checks and balances with that, where that person is actually, this witness will be signing at the time of the Ron. But this is talking about FaceTiming with somebody, then running home back, back to your neighborhood and catching up with them before they go pick up their kids from soccer practice and say, hey, sign these papers real quick so I can drop the documents. I don't understand how any notary could think that that would be legal in any way, shape, or form. Which I'm glad you brought that up, because this goes into the subject of being a great notary and having a successful notary business. If you're doing stuff like that and you are unwilling to go and talk to, um, unwilling to go and talk to somebody at the signing company as to whether it should be done, then it shouldn't be done. That's just the way I look at it. If you can't ask them before you do it, hey, can I go and FaceTime with my grandma and my uncle to be witnesses? If you're unwilling to ask that question, you already know you shouldn't be doing it. You just don't, you trying to find a slick way to get in there and do it so that you can get paid, because that's what it's about for a lot of people and everything. They're just trying to get paid. And when you're trying to get paid, you will do anything and take any kind of shortcut to make that happen. And for a while it will work. And then here's the sad part. And this is what I believe that's going on. People have been doing shortcuts in this notary business and haven't been caught. And then therefore they did, and now they're transitioning those shortcuts into course material and trying to teach somebody. So that becomes a problem, that you're creating a course material off of shortcuts. That is not good at all. And I asked them to put in the chat some of the things about field inspections and all of that kind of stuff. So right, and on Ron it needs to be recorded and everything. So, but this is talking about you. It's like, my friend Erica, who's a notary, me asking her to witness me doing a signing on my phone. That's not right. You're not supposed to do that. And if you can't ask the signing company and them whether or not you should do it, then you probably shouldn't be doing it at all. I mean, it's no different than when you tell your kids, why didn't you come ask me before you went down the street to Philip's house? Well, that was, why didn't you ask me? Well, because I knew you was gonna say no. But so you went anyway. You did it anyway, and now you about to get your butt towed up. Now you about to be on punishment. Now you about to lose your cell phone because you just wanted to do what you want to do. And that's why, no matter what, people, y'all keep hearing me say this over and over again. Y'all grown folk. Y'all gonna do what you want to do. And you're gonna find people to tell you that it's okay to do what you want to do. And all I'm saying is, just be willing to deal with the consequences and repercussions of your decision to do what you want to do without you finding out what's legally required of you to do.
Yeah,
So
and
what's
that's
been going
just
on with
that
you?
That's just setting everybody. They're just setting themselves up to lose their commission. When you start doing wacky things that are shady. I mean, I've run into a lot of a few notaries that I've done loan documents with, and they're like, "Yeah, I used to be a notary." "Oh, what happened?" "Oh, I notarized some documents over the phone. They were in the Philippines." I'm like, "What?" you know,
Mm,
like they weren't even in the same room. It's like,
right.
"Oh, okay, well, there you go." So if you do weird things like this that you can't do, you're just setting yourself up to fail. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, and that's why I'm saying, and see, a lot of people, it's not that they don't care, it's the fact that you're an adult, so you're gonna make your own grown person decisions. I'm gonna put information out. That's what some people like. I'm gonna just share this information. Now, what you do with it is up to you. So don't come back to me talking about I listened to what you said and it got me in trouble. Hey, I didn't say you had to listen. But again, sometimes people communicate in such a way to make you feel that you have no other option. That listening to them, and then when you have so many people saying the same things and nobody verifying and vetting any of the information that's out there, it's like, well, if everybody else say, I guess I'm going to do it. Now back to what the guy random video, the young lady, I don't know if it's a gentleman or a lady, asking about they're saying fingerprint gurus are saying that they're talking about leveraging their commission to obtain realtors and title companies to conduct their signings. I mean, well, that's marketing and everything. Again, the way you asked the question led me to think something different about, I mean, if you're trying to leverage your commission, you just got to do good work. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. What good does it do to sit up here and try to market to somebody and you can't do what you're supposed to be doing correctly? You get in a closing and then you freeze up because you don't understand the document, and you're not using your critical thinking elements to figure out whether or not you should notarize this or not. I mean, you got to become a good notary. If you want to market yourself to them or leverage or whatever, then it's not so much in the marketing and connecting and hooking up with people. It's in the execution of what we are commissioned to do. And everybody's trying to get these inroads, but when you in and it's time for you to perform, you can't perform. And that's what's happening over and over again. As a notary, you got to perform. And what is it that I have to perform in doing? Notarizing the documents correctly. If I can handle that, then everything else will be fine, because the people who are calling me for doing that, not for my connections, not for how well I can smooth with them at the mixers and all of that kind of stuff. All that's nice. But you can sit here and smooth with person. And I'll be honest, the most embarrassing thing for any human is to sit up here and talk a good game, and then when it comes time to do it, you can't do it. Not that you just didn't do it, but you literally, I don't know what to do. There's a I don't know what to do, and then there's I don't feel like doing it. What you gonna say, Jeff?
I'm agreeing with you 100%. I mean, I'm in the realist. I'm a realtor too, and my broker, she was only dealing with certain. She only deals with a certain escrow officer because that escrow officer knows her job. So she always goes to that person. So as a notary, if we know our job and we're doing our work properly, then we're going to be able to have those realtors or escrow officers, title companies always want to come back to us and say, "Yeah, you do your work great. I'm going to hire you again." So
Hmm.
if we know what we're doing, it doesn't matter if we're over there and we're sipping the wine with them, and they're like, "Yeah, this is great," but if you can't notarize properly or you're making mistakes all the time, they're not going to call you back. So
Hmm.
you have to know what you're doing, and when you prove that to somebody, they're going to then call you back and go, "Yeah, I liked your work you did. Are you available this time?" "Okay, great. Yeah." So
Hmm. Yeah, that is correct. And as Fingerprint Guru said, you shouldn't look to the signing companies for directions unless it's about their documents, not notarial tasks. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that notaries make. They call the signing company and saying, look, how do I notarize this? I don't know what to do with this. And I've heard people say, they told me, to say, yeah, I called them and I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? I don't understand this. And I'm like, what do you, the notarial area, this notary thing. And I'm like, okay, you called them and asked them what to do. Yeah, I don't, I asked them, how do I supposed to notarize this? And what they're going to say, that's not our job. You're the one that got commissioned. You're the one that supposedly read your handbook from your state. You're the one that supposedly got your training through the NNA. You supposed to, and you bragging about you with this group and with that group and all this, that, and the other, and then you asking me how to do your job. No, 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 no. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get somebody else. And I've had that happen to a notary. She called them and she just had a question about, she knew what to do, but she asked the question anyway because she was what was that noise? She was I guess somewhat unconfident, or just was, we can make ourselves unsure about what we are sure about. And she asked the question, and then they turned around and was like, we're taking you off the signing. Because as a business owner, and just imagine if that business owner is a notary and has been a successful notary, that business owner will do what? Tell Griff, say, Griff, anybody comes in, a notary comes in, start asking some of these basic, simple questions that they should already know, take them off the order and don't ever use them again. Now, we don't know this. We don't know that Jeff, the signing company owner, told Griff, the scheduler, to do it this way, but it makes perfect sense. See, this is how you have a successful notary business and become a great notary, by thinking beyond you, thinking beyond who you are and what you do, and say, as a signing company owner, what would I tell my schedulers with regard to a notary constantly asking questions about, how do I do this and how do I do that? Me personally, I would be like, look, Jeff, the moment they start asking questions about what they're supposed to do, just take the order from them, give it to somebody else. Is that millions of dollars that I'm trying to get taken care of per month, per year, and I don't have time for somebody who's supposed to know what they're doing as a notary, and they didn't do the due diligence, they didn't go and research, they didn't go study. Not so much about all this. Did you take so and so's training? This, that, and that. No, they didn't go. And even if they took that person's training, whoever they took training from still left them unsure about how to do what they're supposed to do. So at the end of the day, whether you pay for training or not, whether you took so and so's training or not, at the end of the day, when it comes time to perform and execute, you can't. And if you cannot do that, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. And that's what the signing, title, lender, everybody else is saying to notaries. I ain't got time to be playing with you. If you spent $2,000 to be in this business and you still don't understand what you're supposed to be doing, you just wasted your money, and I ain't about to have you wasting mine. I mean, that's business 101. And I don't understand why people don't understand that. But somebody better start I understand it, and that's why I'm trying to communicate it to y'all, so that you like, you know what? Okay, well, maybe Griffith might almost be right. And if he is right, hmm. So that means everybody who's out here trying to mentor, train, and all of that need to ensure that those people who they're communicating to and training got it together. However, if the person who paid for training, supposed to be receiving training, don't want to do the requisite work to ensure and the reinforcements of the knowledge, I can't really do too much about it. So people hear me say stuff on this channel, and then they still call me and ask me, did you really say that? Did you mean that? What did you mean? And I articulated what I meant. I'm like, why don't you want to believe what a person say? Did I do something to make you not trust what I said? Do you not trust me? Because if that's the case, then please, you got to move on to someone else. I'm not here to try to convince you. I'm just sharing. And if I'm wrong, I'll correct it. Y'all know that. And so,
Yep, I hear what you're saying. That's 100% true. And just to say that, on the title companies, the real estate agents, they want to close the deal. So if you as a notary don't know what in the heck you're doing, that's why they move on to somebody
Mhm.
else that does, because they need to get that thing closed. There's time frames in the contract that have to be met, and I don't know if all the notaries know that, but we don't see the contract as a notary, right? You don't know if
Mhm.
it needs to close, you know, today or whenever, because we don't see that information, right? So just know that they're trying to close it just as much as you want to get paid. You have to know what you're doing, right? So
Correct. And see, and that's I'm glad you made that point there, because a while ago I did a video in one of my playlists called Notary Interviews. I did a playlist. I mean, I did in that playlist, Notary Interviews, I did an interview with somebody who was a mortgage underwriter, and she broke down the whole process. So that's why I'm saying, people go look through the playlist. I'm sorry that they're not 10 seconds long and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to play with the YouTube algorithm to and all that kind of stuff. That's not my thing. Okay. I'm trying to help and educate notaries so that they can be successful in this business. So I don't necessarily I mean I could, but me just doing and I'm trying to find that thing so I can show y'all. I don't know why. And that's one thing I don't like about YouTube. They keep changing the order of my stuff. So yeah, so here da, 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 da. Man. Yeah, I got that new Windows 11 installed on my computer, and man, it is slowing me down. Um, yeah, it slows. I mean, my computer was running way faster than this. So
never upgrade when something's working.
I know, man, I know. And it was like they was purposely slowing my computer down when it was Windows 10 to make me upgrade. So I did, and yeah. Now some of the features that the Windows 11 have, I do like them. Um, I do like them, but yeah, it slowed me up too much. So this interview right here, this one with this lady named Priscilla, she's out there in California, and she's a notary signing agent, real estate broker, and underwriter. Yeah, the video is 110. I mean, it's an hour and 10 minutes long, but she understands it. Like I said, understanding how the notary affects the mortgage process. So she goes into good detail about how everything jives together. You see what I'm saying? So I talk about these subjects, but not just talking about them. I'm actually trying to I hit the wrong button. My bad. I'm also trying to bring in people. Oh, you about to bounce out?
I'm gonna bounce out. Yeah, I'll bounce
Okay.
out.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
So I try to have people that come on to clarify anything that I've said incorrectly. This is helping me to be a great notary. That I get an idea. I'm like, okay, well, is this right? Is that right? And then I talk to somebody, and then they give me receipts on it, and then they show me and they help me understand. A lot of what we're doing is just talking to other notaries, and sometimes those notaries don't have all of their stuff together. You know what I'm saying? They don't always have. Yeah, yeah. I wish. Yeah, and I'm an IT guy. I should have known, but I mean, I like it. Windows 11 is pretty slick what they're doing. What now? This here says a concerned company stopped using me because the client didn't have a proper ID, and the client goes to his company website and show me his picture and advise, and that's not sufficient. Yeah, and if that happens, I know there's companies that probably stop using me because I won't collect closing funds. In Virginia, that's illegal. If I don't have a title producer license, that's not happening. That is not happening whatsoever. And I got backing on that from the NNA, and I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, like I said, bad boy. So, and like Wanda Boy said, she looked at that video, and then the one below that video in that playlist called Notary Interviews is a real estate agent. And she talks about the process and how what we do supports one another. So it's very important to understand that. And you understanding the process is what helps you to be a great notary, which then in turns help you to run a successful notary business. You get what I'm saying? All of this ties into one another. But at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do. People are going to teach what they want to teach. They're going to be critical of me. I may be critical of them. And it's really not them, the person, it's the information that's being shared. Because I'm not concerned about the individual, it's the information. It's the behavior, it's the things that's coming out of people that may be confusing or is confusing notaries. You see what I'm saying? So if what they're saying is confusing, then that's a problem. So let me share this with y'all real quick. Let me close that down. So clear as bell. Are notary signing agents allowed to collect funds? And this is, I'm a new signing agent. Just wanted to know if it's allowed in Virginia for signing agents to collect funds that are due at a closing/signing appointment. Now I've already done a video on this, but I'm glad she asked, and apparently she didn't see my video. But it says in the Commonwealth of Virginia, if a signing agent handles funds, picks up a check for closing from the borrower to return with the signed documents, they are required to obtain a title insurance producer's license, as they say in Maryland, tip license. If you do not handle funds, or if the lender or title company arranges for borrowers to send funds directly to the closing agent, and remember, per the NAA, we are not the closing agent. We're not. So stop going around acting like the closing agent and acting like you're there. You're the closing, like you're the actual closer agent person. A tip license isn't required. Boom. Hands down, simple, straight to the point. I don't understand why people can't understand this information, but it's right there instructing you as to what you can and cannot do, what you should and shouldn't be doing as a notary. And when you are laced with this information, when you've gone out and done the research, it empowers you to be able to stand on your own. Because there's going to be times again where you're going to be out there and you got to do this thing. You're in the closing by yourself. You got to know what you can and can't do. It's nothing wrong with taking a training course. There's nothing wrong with hearing what somebody said. But you got to then take what they said, starting with me and all the way up to the big boys, and say, okay, I hear you saying this. Let me see how this applies in my life. Let me see how this works with me. Because if it does, cool. If it doesn't, then I need not to use it. I'm not saying that they're wrong for teaching it. I'm not saying that they're wrong for sharing it. I'm saying it could mislead somebody if it's not applicable. And I think it's a person's who educates people responsibility to take that in consideration. Like my son is helping me now with downloading all of the handbooks, the notarial handbooks from all 50 states. Not that I'm going to read any of those, but something is telling me that I need to have those available. So he is downloading those and putting them in a folder for me so that I can go back and review down the road, depending on how long I decide to stay in this business. Random videos, I don't know, but I'm preparing for the future of being in this here for a while, but I don't know. But I keep getting asked questions. So I'm at the point now where maybe I need to have these handbooks available so that if somebody in Texas or California or whatever, and I think California, their notaries are pretty well versed in what they can and can't do, that I can actually look it up for myself and see, so that I'm helping and educating people correctly. so I can refer you back to your handbook. People, I don't know what my handbook is. Okay, well, here's a copy of it. Boom. Now, don't call, hit me up, go look for your own handbook. But I'm just talking about in the rare case, the rare case about that, the lack of comprehension or afraid to stand up for themselves. And yeah, it causes you to lose earnings. So if you're planning on having a successful notary business, it starts with you being a great notary. Now, you can have a successful non-notary signing agent business that deals with notary stuff, meaning I'm a um educator or a mentor or this other stuff that doesn't relate to you actually doing loan closings. And you can be successful in that. But I'm talking about how to have a successful notary signing business. That's what you want. That's what you came in for. You came in to do that. So let's get that down packing good and then move on to the other areas. But if you're not willing to do that, then I don't know how you can have a successful business, because people will pick up that you don't really know what you're doing. You're just in here hustling. You're just in here trying to make a quick dollar. So says notaries should keep the right, have the handbook on you all the time. Yeah, but yeah, we basically don't follow any of the rules not intended for California. Correct. So now that's pretty much what I really just wanted to share with y'all, which means that's a short Fritter Friday because I'm normally running my mouth a whole lot more. But I also wanted to give y'all an opportunity to hop on. And this is, and like Random Video said, they was having a hard time trying to communicate because of the short 200 character thing in YouTube. I get that. That's why I keep asking y'all to hop on so that you can ask me the question and I can completely understand what you are asking so that I can do the best I can to give you the correct answer. Hop on. I mean, now we know Caprentice will probably hop on because he always hopping on and everything. And we know my man Q will hop on. And no need to be acting shy and all that. You don't have to turn your camera on and all of that. This is a safe place. Nobody, I mean, if somebody hops in here criticizing you, they get bounced. We got moderators in here. So if any of the moderators see somebody talking smack or giving somebody a hard time, you bounce them. That's all you got to do. I mean, that's just the way it is. you know all right, you say I'm trying to decide what service to use for a business number. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like the signing company is going to say, hey, you're using T-Mobile, we're not going. They don't care. All they want to do is be able to contact you. The Google Voice thing is okay-ish for me. um if the internet thing if the internet's acting up, then that Google Voice really doesn't work well. So it's nice. It's nice, but I mean, you need something solid that's going to work and allow you to get a phone call. And sometimes that Google Voice don't be doing that. Don't be doing it the way it needs to be. So I don't, so I like the Google Voice. I have it so that, I mean, I also use it as a filter. So here, you call this number, call the Google Voice, and people really text me a lot on that, and then I go from there. But whatever works for you works. I mean, there's no specific company that you need to have and all of that, you know. Um yeah, so it said, is there a way to get different loan documents to print off the practice for free? The short answer is no. The short answer is no. Now, I have to, because see, I need clarification on what you're asking. Because I got two thoughts going in my head on what you're asking. The first thought, based off of what I'm seeing here, is that, is there a way to get different loan documents to print off to practice for free? On the surface, I'm seeing that what you're asking is, I just want to print. I want to practice printing, make sure that I'm printing correctly, letter and legal. On the deeper side, are you saying I also want to be able to review the documents, have them in my hand so I can look and study and all that kind of stuff? That's the part I get concerned about because notaries are trying to get documents so that they can try to memorize them. And then you get a company sending you some documents that aren't something that you've already been studying and memorizing, and it can throw you off. And in my opinion, you should not be trying to memorize documents. You should not be trying to memorize the documents because each title company, each lender can have their own flavor. What you need to be concerned with, as I've always said, understand how to notarize, get familiar with the different notarizations. And if that's the case, if you're concerned with that, then you need to go to my notary basic playlist. And the second video in that playlist is understanding acknowledgments. The third and the fourth video in there is talking about loan doc overview. So if you're trying to get a understanding of that, in addition to being able to print documents, then yeah, do that. And everything, but you have to be careful about trying to um get documents so you can try to understand and learn the 4506C, the 4506T, the borrows this, the affidavit that. The only thing you need to be concerned with is that notarization area at minimum, especially just starting out, because you will grow into understanding the documents in and of themselves by virtue of actually taking signings. If you take the signings, you will grow in your knowledge base. But just starting out, trying to focus on that, and I know notaries and people are even now trying. I don't know if it has anything to do with me. People are like maybe clarifying or just doubling down on the importance or what they consider the importance of explaining documents. As I've always said, you're going to do what you want to do, and I'm gonna hit that in a second, young lady. And you just need to deal with the consequence of it. Again, North Carolina notaries are not allowed to explain documents. New York folk aren't allowed to explain documents. But the one thing I don't hear a whole lot of notary trainers talk about is the importance of filling out your notary logbook and properly giving the oath. Because a lot of notaries are not doing that. They are not giving the oath. And if you don't give the oath and they sign that affidavit, they didn't do it under oath. My understanding that it could be void. That whole thing could be, it's like you didn't do it correctly. So we have something that we need to do, and you're worried about trying to understand and know what this document says. Again, you're going to do what you want to do, and people are going to teach you what they think is most important in their life to teach you, and you got to roll with it. That's what I'm saying. You got to take ownership. Okay, I'm gonna learn this from so and so, and you go and implement it. And if the people tell you, we don't want you doing that, then what are you going to do? You going to keep doing something that these people who are paying you to don't want you to do? Or you going to keep doing what the person who you paid told you to do? I paid you, now tell me what to do. Okay, I'm going to go do that. You're paying me, don't tell me what to do. That don't make sense. That's like you getting somebody, that's like the person who's getting who's buying material to paint your house is being told don't put down the blue tape and everything to make sure that the paint doesn't run over on people's baseboards and floors. Don't put down the drop cloths and all of that. So they took training and the trainer told them don't paint this way, which don't make sense. But they told them that, and then here you're paying them and saying, okay, just make sure no paint gets on the floor, this, that, and the other, and then they got paint all over the floor. And you're like, I told you not to do the paint, but the person who I paid to train me told me it's no big deal. But I'm paying you. You're in my house. You're doing this for me. And without me paying you, you wouldn't have this business. Yeah, I know, but I paid Fred over here, and Fred told me it was okay. I do with the person who I paid. I paid him a lot of money. Matter of fact, I paid him more money than what you paying me. So I'm gonna do what he said. And that's the kind of stuff that we got going on. So real quick, Miss Darlene, I hope I'm saying that correctly. If you go back and look at the video that I just did with my accountant, he encourages us to get one, and he explains that. So if you go back to the video that I did, in my business interviews, or I think it's business interviews or notary interviews playlist, he just talked about that. So you need to go back and look at that video and give him a call and determine for yourself. Depending on how you plan on rolling with your business, I think it's a good idea to um start with having an LLC for the protection, the liability protection. There are going to be people out there who are going to argue you down and say, well, you don't need it because certain you don't unless you're making $100,000 or $10 million and all of that. Talk to an accountant, okay? Talk to an accountant. I keep saying notary interviews. It's actually called business interviews. Um, Talk to an accountant to find out and everything. Let's see here. Let's remove that. So right here, this video I just did about a week ago, last weekend, me and Rob was talking about it, getting your taxes prepared, and he talked about the purpose of an LLC and all of that. And I have other videos in here of me and him talking. So matter of fact, I need to move this up to the top. So me and him have other videos in here of us talking um and everything. So, he's answering your accounting questions and all of that. So yeah, you can start an LLC, but it all depends on how you plan on rolling with your business. Says here, I want to be able to review documents and study them for general notary work. Okay. So again, and see, I wish you would just hop on and talk to me because it would be a lot easier for me to get to understanding what you're trying to do, you know, and everything. Because see, because then you're saying review for general notary work. Well, and loan sign, I mean, there's so many different. Again, it still all boils down to your notarizations. It You can sit here and read a power of attorney if you want to okay. Well, that was quick. Oh, okay. So everything's good. You already dropped everything off. You already dropped your doc. Oh, okay. I was telling you, you could have took it with you. Yeah, yeah. You could have took it with you and everything. All right. So for y'all, look. For Miss Marquia, Rocket Lawyer, this company right here. If you want to see different types of legal documents, right here, you can make your own documents, set you up a 7-day account, and go in here for your state and make you an account, and you can do a living will. You want to see what a document looks like? Bam, here's a draft copy of a living will. That's all you got to do. Make the document for whatever state you are in. Oklahoma, North Carolina, whatever. You go through the process to make the document. But see, the thing is, the way you do the document for in this here may not be the way a document comes. So there's too many variables. It's too many variables out there, variations, whatever I'm supposed to say. Um, you know, and all of that. So here it all depends, is the living will customized for my state, So that's the thing. It all depends on your state and all of that. And then an attorney that puts it together. Um, some attorneys do them, they all do them differently. So it also depends on the signer. So when you get the document, it's not your role to sit here and understand what this living will is talking about. The only thing you need to be concerned about is the notarizations, the notarial aspect. If you understand the notarial thing and how to properly notarize, you good. I mean, honestly, you're good. And I did not see their video. I mean, before it's looked at it. Um, Again, if you got something that you need to share, hop on and talk to me. Okay. Don't hide in the corners. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm like, if there's something specific that you want to address or want me to address or want to share with me concerning that, then I mean, I done put the link out there, multiple times. Hop on. Okay. Hop on, because just asking questions like, hey, did you, no, I told y'all I don't get a chance to really look at other people's YouTube videos for its notary stuff. When I'm looking at YouTube stuff, I'm looking at stuff for my own edification, growth, my finances, minority mindset, and other things like that, um, and everything. And that's why I said they, YouTubers are going to do what they do, just like I'm gonna do what I do. Okay. So I don't know what Kendra, I know who she is, and she knows who I am, and I'm not going after her, and I don't think she's going after me. So what she says is what she says, and she has a reason for saying it. What I say is what I say, and I have my reason for saying it. And that's why I keep sharing with y'all, you're going to do what you want to do. It's that simple. And if I'm incorrect in what I'm saying, I've always said that I'm more than happy to hear an opposing side and to teach all of us. I mean, more than happy. Anybody can come on. If you want to come on here, let's talk. Okay, let's talk. But if the goal is to sit here and try to belittle me and try to like shut me up and shut me down, you should know by now that ain't about to happen. You get what I'm saying? So, and if it's about trying to draw out some beef between me and somebody, I have no beef with anybody, any individual. I'm just looking at, I know that certain things shouldn't be done in certain states. And I'm just encouraging you to make sure that whatever somebody says from me on up to whoever, you are doing it in accordance with your state law. That's the whole goal. So, and this is the thing that a lot of y'all are not listening. Y'all just hearing what you want to hear out of my mouth or what you think is coming out of my mouth. And you're jumping on that and trying to start something. Not saying you, Random. I'm just talking about other people who don't even comment and stuff. They just sit in the background. You're going to do what you want to do. And that's what I keep telling y'all. And y'all hear me say that. I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm doing it for an impact of Griff say, I'm going to do it. Then go do it. Just own up to it. Stop looking for something. Stop looking for somebody to bail you out. Stop looking for somebody to blame. Well, I did what you said. And did you do what you needed to do based on your own knowledge that you learned? Well, I ain't try to learn nothing. Then you have your own self to blame. Don't blame me. Don't blame her or anybody else. It's that simple. Buy the books offered. Yeah. Buy the books offered. Um, like she said, start with the notary primers. I say the most important thing is to make sure you are thorough in spotting initials and signature lines. Also recognize notarial wording and where you actually need to sign or stamp and sign. That's it. That is it. That's all at a bare minimum. Again, people hop in this business and they're trying to be fancy. They're trying to show off. They're trying to impress people. This isn't about impressing people. This is about getting documents executed so that they can get recorded at the courthouse. And how fancy does a human being need to be in order to do that? But what you do need to do is be on time. What you do need is to have pens. You need to have clipboards. You need to have a working stamp. You need to notarize in front of them. You need to administer the oath. You need to record it in your logbook. Once you do all of that, I don't care what you do. If you ain't doing none of that stuff that you are required to do by law, by the oath that you took for your state, if you ain't doing that, then you shouldn't be looking at over there. Yeah, I mean, that's like a kid getting in the first year in high school. Yeah, I can't wait till I go to college. Okay, well, you got to get through 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Yeah, I know, but when I get no, you got to get yeah, when I get off the I'm gonna be a starter. Okay, well, first you got to get drafted. You ain't even played college ball yet. We already trying to be somewhere like when we had the virtual summit that Lori put on, and Lori did an excellent job with that. Laura Brewer talked about the fact that she's an expert witness. And so many people in the comment section was asking, how do I be an expert witness? You can't be an expert anything if you don't understand how to do your job. You don't just become an expert witness just by happenstance. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna apply for it to be. No, you have to prove yourself. And if you're unwilling to do the work to prove yourself, you're not going to be hired to do anything. Because keep in mind, if they go back and look at your history and they say, okay, well, how were you as a signing agent with this title company and that title company? And let's say if there's an issue with that title company, like, I don't know how Fred gonna be a expert witness in this case when we got proof that they could never notarize stuff right for us. We had to keep going back and forth with them and had to blacklist them 15 different times. And now you're an expert witness? Come on. Come on, people. You're getting you, as they say, you're putting the cart before the horse. You're putting the cart before the horse. Right. Again, I don't feel I need to check it out. And again, I already know when I put stuff out, people are going to say, do what you want to do. Okay. Do what you want to do because, again, see, if there's a video I have out there called LSA versus NSA, and it talks about being a witness closer. Google, why don't y'all take time out and Google, look at that video, and I even put the links in there. Google the term witness closing. The term witness closing says that we're not supposed to say certain things about the document. Now, I know people probably running around there calling title companies and say, Griff won't explain your document. Griff ain't gonna explain your documents. I understand the documents. I do. And I can explain them very, very well. I didn't need to buy anybody's script or anything. I don't have anybody's script, none of that. I sat there and read the documents myself as I got them, as I did work. As I did work, I learned the documents. Oh, that's what that means. I called this title company. How do you want this? How, okay, they have an understand. They don't understand this, and I don't understand it. Oh, well, this means this and this means that. I did a document early this week, and I was like, I'm not sure what's going on because this is my first time seeing it. They don't understand it. I sort of understand it, but I don't know what to say. Oh, well, this is what they're going on with this document. Boom, 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 boom. I said, well, it seems like there's a cost that they need to be aware of. Oh, yeah, the cost is $35. That's how I learn, by going out there and doing the work. So if you're trying to just start up beef random videos, which that's what I think you're trying to do, more power to you. These people they're gonna do what they do. I do what I do. I clarified my point. You do what you need to do in accordance with your state law, because that is your responsibility. And I don't think anybody can deny that as a fact. That's why I don't think you want to hop on here and talk to me. And I'll be straight up. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what's your angle. I've been looking at your side eye from day one that you've been on here, because you ask these little weird, questions and stuff, and you won't come on here and talk. And see, that's my thing. They raise prices on insurance all the time. Okay. What's the point of asking a question? You see, you're just asking these random questions and everything that doesn't really make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And all of that, and my gut is telling me that there's something more to what you're doing and everything, and all of that. So, yeah. So I just put them in timeout because something's not right. Something's not right and everything. Okay. You're just asking these things. So now back to some real business here. And again, Kendra, and to Kendra's followers and people, did not look at her video. I saw it, have no idea take on it. I'm not against what she's doing, what she's saying at all. So if you're going out there starting some mess, don't. Okay. She's a grown woman. I'm a grown man. If she has something that she wants to communicate with me, I'm confident that she would. If I have something to communicate to her, I would. But most of what I really, a lot of what I talk about has nothing to do. It has everything to do with y'all calling me and talking to me, because y'all can't get in contact with other people. Y'all call me, talk to me, and then I talk about it on here based off of research that I've done, based off of me talking to lenders and things of that nature and title companies. And this is what they're sharing with me, and I share with y'all. It's that simple. And I already knew this was going to be a big issue, but when I put those videos out a couple of weeks ago, over the last couple of weeks, talking about explaining the documents, because a lot of people want to do that. But if you go back and look at my videos, how many of you are getting blacklisted because you don't know how to notarize? Common sense, people. Learn how to notarize first. That empowers you to be able to say whatever you need to say about the documents. Period. Look at Okay, to learn how to notarize, look at the videos that I put out there. Look at the videos, read your state handbook. If you read your state handbook, I mean, how else? That's how you learn to notarize and take orders. But prior to you taking orders, you read your state handbook. Your state handbook shows you how to properly notarize in accordance with their state guidelines. Taking the NNA notary essentials helps you. That's what most trainers will tell you. Most of the notary trainers out there will say, we don't teach notarizations, go to the NNA. So if you're unwilling or unable to go to the NNA, look at my videos where I just show you the basics of notarizing the documents. Many of the videos I have on here, I do that. So you're saying, I want to learn. Okay, what are you doing to learn? What are you doing? You're just saying it. And I'm not trying to be funny, but people are just saying, I want to learn this. I want to learn that. I got videos that talk about that on this channel. Now, if you look at the video and you still have concerns or issues or whatever, then in my opinion, that's where you need to communicate with me so that I can be able to clarify something. But to say I just want to learn, I'm like, I've told y'all, and you've done a good job in defining. I want to learn how to, where to sign and notarize. I'm like, look at the video that I got. I got a video out there that, oh my goodness, this is what I'm saying. I mean, and I'm not trying to be funny. And I don't right here. Where do they sign? Where do I sign? The videos is there. I mean, now if you're unwilling to go and spend the time to look at the video, I can't do nothing for you. There's not a whole lot I can do. Okay. If you're not willing to put in the time, if you want just somebody just to tell you what to do, because 90% of the notaries out here that I communicate with, that's what I hear from them. I just need somebody to tell me what to do. Just tell me. Just tell me to do dot dot dot. Just tell me what to do. You're not talking about learning. That's why me and my wife did a video a couple of weeks ago about positioning yourself to learn. And all of this here is in relation to, I mean, every document that you look at, you know where to sign at the end. So y'all got to stop saying, I don't know what to do. That means you haven't looked at your notary handbook. That means you haven't really paid attention to the documents that you yourself signed. And if you're a young person and you haven't really done that much legal transactions, okay, that's understandable. But I got a video out there that goes over all of that. So you look at that video, I'm telling you, you'll be fine. But if you don't do it, then that's on you. Um, should you be concerned? Should you be concerned about calling the NNA? I've called the NNA and couldn't get get through. But okay, this goes all the way back. I would throw it. I bet you $100 that the majority of the calls, not all of them, but the majority of the calls, why you can't get through and get a operator is because the majority of the phone calls people are calling, new notaries are calling the NNA trying to get help with how to notarize the documents. I would say 85% of those phone calls are about how to notarize the document versus how to explain the document. I almost guarantee you that. So if so I even called one time and I needed help really bad. And I couldn't get through to them. And I finally got a call back like 20 minutes after the signing was over. And we had already figured, we came to a resolution. And then they gave me the information that I needed. But new notaries, I mean, you need urgent help. Again, the question I would ask then is, what is the urgent advice that you need help on? Or, what was it pertaining? And if it was pertaining something that is in the realm of how to properly notarize, this is why I'm trying to encourage y'all to get that down pat first. If you get how to notarize down pat first, that can help alleviate that issue and everything. But yeah, and see, yeah, what you got, man?
I was just gonna jump on Griffin. Just tell you, don't get frustrated. I think that what we see, and I'm a little bit congested because I've had like a cold lately, but I think what's going on is that everyone in the 50 states need to go on board the same exact way they need to have like education for this, because you look across the board, there isn't a consistency where some states have this long, some states just say go pay a bill, which is, I think, a disservice, because now you have notaries getting out there not knowing what to do. Like, whereas obviously California, we had to take a 6-hour class, and to be honest, that wasn't even enough, for me to learn. So I think that, and I'm not saying that you can make a change to that at all, but I think that that's what ultimately the problem is that people don't see that, and they're not actively seeking stuff out. If someone forces you to do something where you have to pass a test, well, then that's going to be one thing. But then the second thing is, if you don't take the initiative, which I think happens too often, you're not going to learn, and you're going to look for, as we always talk about, not just me, but a lot of people have talked about it, including yourself and some of the other people who jumped on your lives, is that you're going to get people who just want answers like real quick, versus like taking the information and looking where the information is. You're getting guided to it, but you're not going to do all the work for everybody. That's not what your job is. You can like lead and support and help, but it's basic. That's why I commented on there, and I'm not trying to be like rude or anything like that, but I'm trying to support your message, because I believe your message is correct. But like, literally, if you look at your you don't need to look at the documents, the stuff that you have to notarize, you need to know what your company says. I mean, what your state says. We only have 3 things that we do here. We do jurats, we do acknowledgments, and then we do copies of power of attorneys. That's it. That's all we notarize. Now, I know there's some states that have like up to like almost 10, but look at the verbiage, and you'll see the verbiage on the documents. It's not like, and it's in plain sight. The only thing, obviously, for California standpoint is, obviously, with our box, we know no one ever uses them unless they operate in California. So, but we still see the verbiage. The verbiage is still there. When he's talking about like, hey, sworn, subscribe and sworn to affirm, that means it's a jurat to us. So whatever like state has that, we know that they're looking for a jurat. It's probably not ours that we can utilize, but we still know that a jurat is there and it's needed. So I think just like with regards to like all this, it's an unfortunate thing, is that like people are looking for like shortcuts. And it's just not coming. It's not supposed to be. You have to look at it. I know Sanoshi just called it out, saying you have to study. That's absolutely true. You have to look at your stuff. And just as you said, when you looked at the way you learned how to do it was experience. I 1000% agree, because I've learned docs even more so since I've like looked at them, because I keep seeing the same things over and over again. And the other thing too is reading. I bought the source book, not saying that everybody else has to, but when I got the source book, like way at the beginning, I read it and I was like, what does this stuff say? And you look at it and you're like, okay, now this makes sense. It's not some big bad form that's like so scary. It really is common sense. And the key is, I'm sure a lot of the audience doesn't recognize, is that the people that we sit down at the table with, especially right now when we're doing refinances, they had to go through the loan process. They signed docs at the beginning. The same disclosures that we're signing at the end were part of, at least here. Now, I'm not sure about every other state, but there's stuff that they signed before. So they should have seen this stuff before. So it's not going to be, oh my goodness, new to them. The thing that they need to make sure, and that's where you just give it to them and say, okay, if they have a question, where do you find it? This particular answer, you show them. But ultimately, looking at the settlement statement, looking at closing disclosure, looking at the note, they care about the numbers. That is ultimately what people care about. They don't really care too much unless, like, I had an attorney actually last night who was kind of looking over the docs like a little more than like normal. But I was like, hey, that's you. I don't need to tell you anything. You want to look at it. But that person knew what he wanted to look for. And it wasn't just the numbers. So just a lot of stuff, Grip. But like, I obviously support you. And
yeah, and I appreciate that. And like I said, I'm not trying to go at anybody. And like I said, my thing is this, and what I've learned is this, and I've said this over and over. And again, people not listening, I know people tend to look for controversy in anything that somebody says. I already know that over 99% of the notary trainers and mentor people are all on the same page. Signing company owners, they're emphatic. You got to know the documents. You need to understand the documents in order to be a good signing agent. I never said you couldn't understand him. All I said is when you open your mouth about him, if it's not in accordance with your state law, that's the thing. So I understand that. And what I was taught was that when the majority of signings started coming out of the title office, where you had the escrow officer, settlement agent, who actually was a part of breaking things down and helping the signer understand, that sometimes they look for the notary to be the one to do that. I'm cool with that if I'm just working with you. But when I think I looked at my thing, I did 120 different clients last year. 689 closings, 120 different clients. That's 120 different ways those documents will be at minimum, because then with each client, those signing companies had different clients. So I did 120 different clients. Some was signing companies, direct clients, all of that, and they had their different ways of doing things. And the level of knowledge that I need to have in order to operate as a settlement agent or a closing agent, and I know, and see, this is where it gets quirky, because on one end, people say you need to know, they're real emphatic about it. But then when I start talking like, about the detail, they say, well, no, you just need to know the what and not the why. Okay, so what is the what? What the document is. Well, what the document is told you at the top of the document. When you look at the document, borrower's consent to use tax return. What is this document? That's what it is. If well, why am I signing it? Because they want you to. What is this information about inside of it? You get what I'm saying? So at that point, my question is, and you need to hurry up and make sure you drop the docs off before 6. Yeah, I'm going up. Okay. So it's like, see, a lot of people say the what and what not the why. I would guess the question would be then, what is the what and not the why with each company? Because are you saying that is standard, that Caprentice Signing Company or Caprentice Title and Escrow, his what and not the why is the same for IMQ Title and Escrow? Is it the same or is it not? Because my concern is we put stuff out in too general of a sense in the notary community, as if it's a one size fits all. And it doesn't. It's a one size fits all. This is, the one size fits all. Everybody notarized the same way. Meaning, you stamp on this side or stamp this, or you do this, or you put the dates this way and that way and the other. Or everybody, initial, make sure everybody, the signer's initial every single page of every single document. I'm like, but is that what the companies want? I mean, I was reading directions today, that said no double side printing. But, and see, if y'all can understand anything about me, because of so many other things that notaries are taught to do, and that notaries are adamant about doing, that are outside of the scope of what the signing company who's paying you or the title company want. And the document and the information said today, the lender doesn't want that. So I'm like, okay, we're being taught to do things that they're not. So that's what makes me iffy about certain other things. When they say, well, you should say this about the document, or you should say it that way about the document. And I'm like, okay, that's what you say, but is that what they say? Because in other areas of our life, that's how we operate. We operate that way. When, we're like, okay, what is it that you want me to do versus what they want me to do? And I know I sound like a broken record, people, but this here is right now, I think, is going to be the Achilles heel for a lot of notaries moving forward, because a lot of notaries in other states that have strict requirements on your mouth, they're like, wait a minute, I was told to do it this way. And that's why I was saying in the beginning, when you are questioned or challenged on something you did as a notary, you can't go back and say, well, Griff said, or this person said, or this training company said. They're going to be like, who authorized them to say that? Are they in our state? If they're not in your state, I guarantee you California will go off on y'all if you're like, well, I took some stuff from Griff, and Griff said, where's Griff located? He in Virginia. You get what I'm saying? So in other areas of our life, we take this type of care and concern, but with the notary, it's whoever's the coolest, whoever's the smoothest, whoever the most likable personality on the internet. That okay, yeah, just tell me what to do, and I'm gonna do what they say because they seem to be so together. He seems to be so down to earth when they talk about Griff and this, that, and the. And I try to bring as much receipts as possible, and not just base it on what I'm going through or what I've dealt with and all of that. So that's the thing that I'm trying to help people understand. I already knew somebody's going to try to bring some beef, with these statements that I've been saying. And I already know people are like, well, we're going to go tell the title company that Griff is, you can say whatever you want. I mean, state law is state law. That's the thing, and I've had people call me and tell me that they don't care about state law. They've told me, I don't care about state law. I just care that when I'm sitting there, that I want to be able to say certain things and I want to present myself. And this is the problem. Is this really about you? Or is it about you doing a job that you've been commissioned to do? Is it about you making yourself feel good? Because, I mean, keep in mind this. 98% of the notaries out here, and darn near 98% of the time that we're doing closings right now, those who are at least looking at us on YouTube, me and other, it's just you and the signers. And the signers don't even know what you're supposed to say and not to say. The signing company is not there. The title company is not there. And when I have signers call and I call to confirm, and they're telling me, yeah, they told me you was going to call and that when you come, you're going to bring me a copy of my document, single side printed, correct? I'm like, that's right, man. So this is what the signing companies are telling people, that the notary is supposed to act a certain way. The notary is supposed to do certain things. So I'm sitting here like, okay, you got me doing one. You're telling me to do this. But then the signing company is supposed to do that. Which one is it? Which one is it? And that's why I say that, I get the phone calls. I get the texts and the emails where people are confused and trying to figure out life, and it's sad, that for tax purposes, yeah, more than likely later you need to do an LLC. And he talks about that in the video. If you look at that video, he talks about that because one of the young ladies, she does, I think she does tax preparing or something to that effect. I mean, she does tax preparation, and he says that you need to have it separated. So yeah, you probably need to have that as your for your business. You probably need to do that and everything. Oh man. All right. So at the end of the day, you're going to do what you need to do or feel you want to do. People are going to teach what they want to teach based off of their experience and all of that. And I said that from the get-go. Trainers teach off of their experience. The average notary trainer is going to teach off of their experience, off of their state, because they are what? In that state. This isn't like Walmart, where you have a corporate trainer that's going to teach you what Walmart wants you to do nationwide. You get what I'm saying? It's not a thing of Walmart, or IBM or whatever. So, so no matter, like McDonald's, if you're in McDonald's in St. Louis and McDonald's in Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, or somewhere like that, they operate the same. Chick-fil-A is the same way. They operate the same. So you can't have a Chick-fil-A trainer online saying, hey, for Chick-fil-A, cashiers, you need to do this and do it this way and that. No, we do the same thing for continuity, for productivity, for simplicity. And now you come into being a notary, and it's like it's too much, it's too many variables. It's too many variables. And all I'm saying again and again and again, anybody who takes on this role of being a notary trainer or communicator, you need to take those things in consideration and then give the proper disclaimers to say that, look, okay, what I'm saying is here, but if you are in these conditions or these situations or these environments, it may not be applicable. And there's nothing wrong with that. My concern is that nobody is really doing that. They might be doing it now because I've been ringing the bell on that. But for the most part, people are just saying, boom, do this. This is what I do. You need to do it. I did it. It was successful for me. You do it. It'll be successful for you. We got people who come on and say, yeah, it was successful. I did it. And that's great. But if you ask them, so can you guarantee that that's the way it is for all 50 states? A smart person that they are, those people will say, no, I can't guarantee that. That's why most trainers don't even deal with trying to teach how to properly notarize, because it's too many variables with each different state. Ain't no person in Kansas gonna ever try to teach notarizations to California people unless they got that experience. If they don't have any experience, they're not going to go down that road. And that's all I'm really pointing out. And we all know that in our everyday life, we operate different. Driving, everything, we operate different. The DMV in California operates different than what's in Florida, Virginia, New York. It just operates different. Heck, you go to the daggone washing machine, you go to the corner laundromat. You can't just walk up in certain place. Man, I was down in Florida about over a year ago when I got my dad, and I went into the washing mat, and immediately when I went in, everybody looked at me like, he knew. He don't know how we do things here. You know how everybody throw their head back at you? And everybody was looking at me like, I had to take a step back. I was like, okay, let me regroup here. let me regroup and figure out. I literally sat outside and looked at the dynamics of how the laundromat operated, because you could tell. I was like, wait a minute, okay, those are old heads. They come here every week. These are people that come here once a month. Okay, got it. And then I went in there and I just sat back and said, okay, let me survey the land, AKA read the room, and figure out how I need, because some people got favorite washing machines, favorite dryers, all of that. And I didn't want to touch somebody's stuff and end up not making it back home to Virginia. So once I figured out the lay of the land, I was like, all right, cool. And I went in there, bam, I did my thing. And I was literally off in the corner somewhere, probably spent more money than I should had on the washing machine, because, I had to just got the big one, because it seemed like everybody wanted the little one. And I only had a little bit of clothes, but I put it in the one for $250 when I probably could have paid $1.75. But I am not messing with Miss So-and-so over there, because she got those washing machines and her kids are especially when you see the kids throwing coins in there. Again, every environment is different, and we are obligated to sit back and figure it out. Like, okay, let me learn. And once I did that, I got in, got my clothes washed, and I was good to go. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just have to keep dirty clothes, carry some extra clothes next go around, because it was stressful for me. It was stressful. What you got, Mather?
No, I'm over here laughing on what you're saying about the laundromat, because I grew up in Florida, like Palm Beach County, so I know exactly how it is. So if you walk in that laundry, that person that's there on a regular basis, you don't mess with their spot. It's like, and then when you said about the kids putting the quarters, I've seen it. Once the kids put the quarters in, The kid standing in front of that machine. Don't you dare open it. Don't you
Don't
dare.
you open it? Nothing. You don't do anything. And
Oh,
that's all I'm saying in life, man. We all do that. I mean, every environment we go into, I mean, you don't go into a job. Look, no matter what somebody told you at orientation for a job, when you get in there, you're like, okay, let me figure out what's going on here and figure out how I'm supposed to function.
yep.
So all I'm saying again is you say what you teach and educate however you want to. I'm not against that. Just realize that there are human being lives that are at stake here, and not everybody is on the same level as the notary educator. Male, female, black, white, young, old, it doesn't matter. Everybody is different. Everybody's coming in for a different reason. They don't have the same energy. So therefore, you need to be aware of that. And that's one of the things I do. That's why even when and I know sometimes I seem harsh when I'm like, okay, well, you didn't say that answer. You didn't ask that question correctly. Ask the question correctly. You get the right answer out of me, because I don't want to mislead people. I want to give people the right answers and opportunity to grow, but we got to communicate properly instead of just saying, teach me, and then I teach you something and then it's not useful. We don't accept that for our kids. I mean, Matthew, you homeschool your kids, so you make sure that you teach your kids right. But if they was in school and you went to and you just drop your kids off and say, hey, teach them, and then you're like, well, you know what, you're really not teaching my kids what I want. Well, you didn't tell me what you wanted to be taught.
Exactly.
You just said teach them. So we pulled out this little booklet that we found at the library one day that we thought was cute because of the colors on it, and that's what we're teaching them.
Yep. You're right. Nah, that's because folks for some reason folks think that you should already know what they want without them being specific. So it's like, if you don't tell me exactly what you want, then how am I supposed to serve you? Like, how am I supposed to provide you with the proper information if I don't know exactly what it is that you're looking for? But I think,
Right.
so that's something I've seen that's been going on. It's going on a lot within this industry. And sometimes I just sit back, because, me and you talk on a regular, and, based on what we see happening. Sometimes I just sit back and just watch how things just unfold. And most of the time it's like when especially in this Facebook group, when one person is making a comment, and then as you scroll down through the comment, and they will be like, well, this is what I was trying to say. Well, we already 50 comments down this entire post. So why couldn't you just say what you wanted to say from the get-go?
Right.
Well, it's like folks not being transparent, and everybody, they're getting hurt too easily. You really can't say nothing nowadays, because
Correct.
you might hurt someone's feeling.
Yeah, that is correct. And again, I mean, this is just a basic principle of life that I've learned, that I honestly believe that for a lot of people is lacking with our industry, is that we're not taking responsibility for our business and our education in the business. And let me put it out to you this way. When I sit back and think about it, when you go to a W-2 job, there's not that many people on the internet trying to teach you how to do that W-2 job. I mean, I know, Caprentice, you're in you deal with security. There's nobody sitting up here talking about your realm. You get what I'm saying? So nobody, so then you realize that, okay, I got to take ownership and figure this out myself and learn from my in-house company resources, as well as maybe the college training that I did or certifications that I'm doing on how to do this. What I'm seeing that has happened with us, and I might be wrong, but the way I'm viewing it, and I'm saying this not to put anybody down, but to try to flush out the truth of the matter. What I'm seeing is that we have the organization, say like the NNA, and then the American Association of Notaries, I think called the AAN. So they're sitting here saying, hey, we're doing this, that, the other to help notaries. Then you have a whole bunch of other people who are saying, well, I'm going to teach you about how to be a notary. So now that's confusing, because if you go to Walmart or Kmart or any other store or organization, They teach you everything you need to know in-house, and there's nobody, and nobody's going online looking for how to be a Walmart employee online. And you don't have anybody having courses or talking about you can pay me to be a mentor or follow me on my Walmart employee journey. You don't have any of that. But we have that in the notary world. So now for people who may not be studious enough to take ownership of their notary career like they should, what do? Okay, I'm gonna just gravitate to that. That person seems to, I seem to click with them, and then they forget about the training with the NNA or the American Association of Notaries or the AAN, and they never learn that information. But then they get stuck on something, and it's like, wait a minute, what do I need to get help? And then refer you back to the main source. But with Walmart and the other organizations, even with YouTube, I don't think there's anybody like, here's the best way to be a YouTube employee videos out there, especially if they contradict what YouTube HR says. You don't have that. And I'm not, and it's not that people are intentional on trying to contradict what the NNA says. They're just teaching from their experience what they feel that works best for them in their environment. And I'm okay with that. But if I come to you and your information doesn't apply to where I'm at, then somebody has to take ownership and be the adult and say, okay, let me do what's right for my situation where I'm at. It's no different than people who are married. I think Apprentice is engaged or soon to be engaged. Matherin's married. I'm married, and then we sit there and how Matherin does his family, how I do my family is all different. But at the end of the day, as men, me and him got to do what? Take care of our family. Now, how we go about doing that depends on the environment. So I can say, hey, this is how to be a man and take care of your family. I've been married for 20 some years, ... But some of the stuff that I may say may not be applicable because his wife's personality is different than mine. His kid's personality is different. His culture may be different. All of those things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I can still share my part, but I have to be willing to say, okay, but if it's not applicable, hey, don't feel bad in not doing it. And be willing probably for me to learn, okay, is there a cultural difference in the way he was raised, I was raised, and then maybe help him understand, or maybe I learn and understand that way I can at least do what? Support. Maybe not educate him in that realm, but I can support him as he learns. To me, that's what good teachers and instructors do. You figure out, okay, well, this is where I can educate you, but then there's a cultural difference, there's a gender difference, there's a whatever difference. Let me find a way to support you in operating. So if your cultural difference or religious difference said this is how you want to do it, I mean, whether I agree with it or believe in it or understand it, is there some kind of way that I can support you and be there as you go through this process? So sometimes I end up just supporting people in what they're trying to accomplish in their life. And that in and of itself is a whole nother animal to, they close at 4? No big deal. Well, we'll just drop it off on them tomorrow. Yeah, it's still not going to get there till Monday. I just didn't, so don't worry. Correct. The red closing at 6:30, but they probably closed early because of the snow. All right, no problem, big man. So that's all I'm trying to say is that I just want everybody to really look to expand their mindset on looking at this and not just get tunnel vision on this industry and just running and trying to get somebody to teach them something, tell them something that you probably could learn on your own and all of that. So what else you got, man? What's going on with you today?
Man, not much. Let me see. I had like one appointment today. Pretty much everything else, just like I told you, like these homeowners, the homeowners benefit agreement with I've been getting a lot through with Superior Notary Services. Like these signers had been canceling. I don't know what's going on. So I had 3 today. I only end up doing 1. Then I had this social worker who called me from this nursing home because I left my card there a couple weeks ago. So they're gonna need me
Mhm.
to do a power of attorney probably tomorrow because they were trying to schedule it today, but they have to get everything situated with the hospital, with the nursing department, because that's where I have to go. But beside that, man, I'm just here. I just gotta do some follow-ups with the wholesaling thing that I have going on, and I'm just looking to just you know just looking to learn. I'm just looking to I'm reading a couple books this month, and I'm just trying to find different ways where I can improve my business because I think like this year is that's all that I'm aiming for is to increase my income and find new ways, like new services. But each new service that you offer, you have to take the time to learn about it. So that way, when you do get a call, you're not there trying to figure it out. You see what I mean? So that's pretty much that's pretty much what I've been doing lately. Just just taking some time, especially the fact that the wife is on vacation right now, so I got some time where I can just read. I'm up at 3:30
Yeah.
in the morning reading and stuff. I'm not bothering anybody. But man, I feel like there's a shift coming. Like I haven't really been getting a lot of like signings, like loan signings in my area, but that's exactly how it started last year. So last
Yeah.
year in January was kind of slow, and then around February things start picking up. So just got to stay the course. Got to stay
Yeah.
the course and just make sure I'm preparing myself mentally as well when that time do come.
Mhm. And one of the things that I'm really trying to get people to understand, and again, the more we remove ourselves from ownership of a process, the more scattered our mindset can be with understanding how things should go or does go. I think if most people take a step back and stop with the tell me what to do, show me what to do, and think about what the whole notarial process or the whole mortgage process, especially if you've owned a home or you've looked into owning a home, you will realize that the reason why you don't have a closing or things have slowed down is because nobody's applying. Car sales are down. Why? Because people aren't applying. Job numbers are people being unemployed, or the companies are like, we can't find people to work for us. Why? Because people aren't applying. Everything starts with the application. In life, it all applies. Man, you ain't even, I mean, most people, you haven't, the reason why you probably aren't dating somebody or whatever, because you haven't applied. You haven't applied. You haven't tried. You haven't put forth any effort. I know many times girls like, well, Griff, if you would have tried, I wouldn't be with him. I would have been with you, but you ain't try. I was like, my bad. You sitting in the club, y'all doing your thing, and you seeing old girl, you got your cup and everything, and you like, man, yeah. You know how the fellas, we be all talking, man, she bad. And like, going over there, nah, man, I ain't going. Man, go over, I ain't going. And then next thing you know, some toothless guy come up and be like, and she like, he tried. So I'm gonna give him some play. And you like, yo, it's like, and so I learned at an early age, you got to put forth the effort. You got to try. So when you apply, I mean, what happens what you see with most sports, you're not applying yourself. You're not I mean, look, just take the Lakers for example. They say, Westbrook, you talking a good game, but you're not applying, you're not changing and adjusting to what needs to be done, because whatever you did over them other other organizations ain't working here. So the NBA is as the one thing we can say, at minimum, all those guys can play some kind of basketball. but each organization is different. So how is that any different than the notary world? And we got 50 states and they got 32 teams, I believe 32 teams. And they got all these different organizations, different mindsets, different vibes, owners, general managers, all of that. And what they say, when all of you can get the right owner with the right general manager, with the right coach and the right players. Oh, that sounds like lender, title and escrow, signing company, notary. When you get all of them in sync with each other, that ain't a closing that can't happen. We got to be in sync with each other. All four of those. So that's why, again, I'm not against any notary trainer. All I'm saying is don't teach me something that's going to put me out of sync with them. Don't teach me something that you think will keep me in sync with them, and that ain't what they want me to be in sync with. And I ain't talking about the dance group. I'm talking about us being in sync with them. So the lender, the title escrow, the signing company, and then the notary, we all got to be on the same page. And if we are not, that makes it very, very difficult for who? The consumer. And when we get there as the last part of the process, that's why I tell notaries all the time, the lender and the title company are not trying to make those documents difficult, because the more difficult they are for the notary, the greater the chance that that signer is not going to sign. So if I give the notary some complex, complicated documents, all of this, that, and the other, have them trying to do stuff that is way outside of their wheelhouse, there's a chance it could make things difficult for that signer. And I guarantee, and I honestly believe it takes about 2 years minimum for any notary to really feel comfortable with talking about the documents, unless you've had experience, unless you had a background in that industry before. And I'm learning more and more that a lot of people have that already. So most of the people, they already have experience with this industry, and therefore they can flow in a whole lot better than other people. I had to learn, and every real estate agent that I've talked to people who are mortgage brokers and who own mortgage companies that are now doing signing agent work. And they're like, yeah, the document's easy. I know. I mean, and I'm like, okay. So they're like, yeah, I can flow with that. They're like, I don't need to know that part. I got that. I'm just trying to figure out how to make sure I'm running my business right. So now that's a whole nother story, a whole nother thing. I'm like, okay, so how do you tell somebody who already know the process, who knows what to say, who knows how to say it, who knows what not to say? They want to know how to function when there's trouble at the table, because they may have never seen that. They may have never seen what happens when the interest rate on that refi is 2.65 instead of being 2.25. That's a big thing. What's going on, Q?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? How are you?
Doing good. I guess it's the fellas today.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I wanted to jump in and get some great gentlemen up here that I respect a lot. So, just want to jump in and say hello to everybody.
Yeah. So we got California, we got Virginia, that's me, Philadelphia, and Connecticut. So we got 3 East, Massachusetts, my bad, Massachusetts. So we don't have no Seattle, Washington folk out there, because I know the printers all over and everything. No West Coast folk. But
hey, Griff.
Yeah.
So what you think about? Because I've seen is like these notaries, even in the group that I'm in, like the Massachusetts loan signing group, and just the private group I'm also part of. Like a lot of these signing companies, they are not holding themselves accountable. So if something's going on, because I know there's a friend of mine, she mentioned about that she may have got blackballed from one signing company because something went wrong where she communicated with the signing services, but they refused to take accountability for what happened. So they blame everything on her. And that's something I've heard a lot of notaries are saying that's happening to them. So I'm not sure, what like why do you think like some title companies feel like they don't have to be accountable? As soon as if we miss a signature or an initial, or we forgot to take somebody's ID or anything like that, that's on us. But as soon
Right.
as they messed up on their end, they refuse to take that accountability aspect.
Yeah, and it's not even what that's a standard thing, irregardless of whether it's a notary industry or whatever. That becomes the business mindset. Because if you listen, as I as I always say, true millionaires and billionaires, they talk about taking ownership of when they made a mistake. And that's one of the things that I learned from people like Tony Robinson's, Eric Thomas, Zig Ziglar, Robert Kiyosaki, all of them, Miles Monroe, even other preachers and stuff. They all talk about taking ownership of the mistakes and the decisions that you made. Yeah, and also moderators, y'all can bounce people like that. If you see somebody hop in there, if it gives you the option to just permanently ban them, kick them out completely. Go ahead on and kick them out. It's just that simple. They come in here acting foolish. We got to get rid of them forever. And everything. That's 2022. I'm bouncing folk forever. All
There's
right. So
no
you
time,
start acting
no time
crazy.
for nonsense.
I'm
Griff,
and
I need a wrench, bro. Give him some brotherly love.
oh yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that right now, man.
I love dishing out some brotherly love.
Wait,
Yeah,
hold
let me
on.
do that right now for
Man,
you, man.
see, I didn't even know that was an option for us.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Put a comment in there, Matthew, so I can throw a wrench on you.
Or a comment. Hold on. So hold on. I'm still trying to get used to the StreamYard thing, man. Like I've been been doing my best with as far as trying to post videos on a regular. So I've been doing my best. So that's one thing that I struggled with last year.
Yeah.
So it's part. That's why I need people to understand it's part of the business. Just your growing process. Things you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
I know we hear that a lot, but in order for you to be successful, you have to do some stuff that you're not comfortable with. And
Mhm.
for those out there, I don't really like being on video, but I know it's something that I have to do. Like my wife been telling me, "Hey, start recording yourself." Since we started, I was like, "No, that's not my thing. That's not my thing."
Yeah.
But as time are changing, I'm seeing how everything is going. What most people are doing right now and what's working. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Regardless if I don't like being on there, I just got to make it work.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yo, seriously, Matthew, y'all got to follow this brother, man. He's putting out some serious stuff out there on YouTube. Very inspirational. All you ladies out there, please follow him. I love what you're doing, man.
I
Especially on
appreciate it.
Instagram and YouTube, man, bro. You're doing some good stuff. Good work.
But I really appreciate that. It's all about being consistent. Like for instance, I always tell people we're not looking for perfection here. We're looking for consistent action. Like this morning, I was freezing. Like when I did that reel, it was like 14 degrees. I'm on my way to the gym at 5:30 in the morning. And I'm over here. I'm in the car. I thought the car was gonna heat up by then. It did it. I'm in the car like, yo, it's cold. I'm like, I got to a point where I was like, I should turn around. Like, I'm like, nah, I'm already committed. I'm already on the road. And then so I just, I got up, did it. Like it wasn't the way I wanted for it to be, but I'm like, you know what? So it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm just gonna put it out there. Whatever happens, happens. And,
And it's the grind, man. It's a grind, and
look,
put it out there.
Look,
Yeah.
I grew up in Florida. This cold weather ain't for me, man. I'm trying to go back.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I feel you, man. Me being from Jacksonville, Florida, the same.
Yeah, I'm from Tampa. I got that warm blood, man.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. But like what you were saying, man, you're talking about and you got the wrench, man. You moderator too. So if you see somebody cutting the food, bounce them out and everything. But yeah, what I've learned in life is that we got to take ownership of our mistakes and our decisions and things that happen within our business. And I always say, this is my perspective, how you are as a W-2 translates over into your business when you're running a business. So as a W-2, if you always shucked and jive, you never really took responsibility, you always was trying to find a way to put it on someone else, then when you become a business owner, you might not really take advantage or take ownership of your mistakes because you didn't plan for them. So if you don't plan and sit back and say, okay, well, let me look at it from this angle and that angle, I mean, I'm constantly like, okay, well, I made this mistake, I might do that. If you're just trying to make the money, people who try to make the money, very rarely are they going to take ownership of the mistakes that they made or the mistakes that people under them that they're in charge of made, because they feel that in doing so it's going to affect their money. So if there was a supervisor who always threw their people under the bus in a W-2 environment, what do you think is going to happen as a business owner? One of the things that I learned, and really both me and my wife learned, is that the moment you become a business owner, it is not a magical switch to eradicate 20, 30 years of your bad behavior and your bad mindset. It doesn't switch over just because you are now a business owner and now you're doing, as one gentleman says, instead of doing business, you're doing business. You're doing the business, not business, but business. You just doing enough to have revenue coming in, almost like some of these sports athletes. They're not really being NBA players or NFL players. They're just being players. They're just being a part of the organization so they don't have to work at McDonald's. That's really it. I mean, they're just doing enough to not get cut. I'll go and stay on a 10-day contract. I'll go work. I'll go in the European League or whoever league. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that I don't have to work at some fast food restaurant or retail store or any of that kind of stuff. So as a business owner, you have to take responsibility for the people you brought into your organization. That's why a lot of people, in my opinion, won't become a title company, because title owners, when you get a title license, you have to get 3 levels of insurance. And in my video, NSA versus LSA, I talk about that. As a title person, you have to get one of the insurances called dishonest employee insurance, meaning you have to have insurance to cover you if your employee does something dishonest. That's a big thing there. So to put the blame on somebody else, you're trying to protect yourself to make sure that you don't suffer a loss for the mistake that somebody else made, especially when you probably should have educated them. In other words, your client, the lender or the title company said, Griff, make sure that your notaries know to do ... And you forget to tell them and they do opposite, aka don't make sure your notaries know not to double side print, and then they double side print. And what are you going to do now? The notary doesn't know that you've been told to tell them that. And the title company or the lender don't have time to run behind the notary and say, hey, Q, do you remember so-and-so telling you? No, they're going to be like, oh, they didn't do it? Blacklist them. Don't use them ever again. And hopefully you feel bad as a signing company owner, like, dang on, I forgot to tell him. Are you going to take the hit on that? Because if you take the hit on that, that means you're not getting paid money, or they may not want to support you or give you more business because they're like, okay, well, you can't do the simple stuff that we ask. You asking us, Mr. Notary company owner, signing company owner, that you want more money or more business coming your way, but we asked you to do what? Let your notaries know ... And you didn't. You didn't tell them, and look what it did, and it cost us. So no, I ain't using you no more, and I ain't giving you no more business. That's the reality of it. That's why a person, irregardless of the industry, won't take responsibility or accountability for the actions that they have done or the people who they are responsible for, meaning managers, team leads, section leads, all of that. You didn't get on your people, you didn't educate them properly to do it right. It blew up, they did it wrong, and now you're to blame. And every Fortune 500 company, you listen to Gary V out there. Gary V will tell you. One guy said, asked him, I posted a clip in one time. The guy was like, "Hey, my employees are doing this wrong and that wrong, and they're acting this way and that way. So I'm wondering, is it me?" He said, "Yeah, it is you. It's you. Your employees are acting the way they're acting because it's you. You're the one that's jacked up. You're the one that's messed up." And he was trying to put it on the employees, and they're like, no, it's you. That's the short answer to that.
Yeah, because you know because my thing is like just like you said, you know, those who try to put it on the employee, you know, that just tells you what type of employee they were once was to begin with. And you know, if you as a business owner, as a manager, if something goes wrong, like for example, when I like on my 9 to 5, you know, so I work in a prison. So my unit, when I'm on the unit, like I need to know what's going on at all time. So if somebody's getting assaulted on the unit or anything like that, and if I'm not aware of it or if I wasn't aware of the situation, I take the accountability for it. But most
Right.
of the time, you know, as soon as we walked in, those whoever works for me, like I kind of give them like a rundown. Hey, stay away from this person today. He's been violent. He's been on the violent street. He's been assaulting staff. He's been trying to stab people. So stay away from that person today. So it's funny because when I'm not there, when stuff happens, first
Mm-hmm.
like I'm home, I'm getting text message. Yo, man, so and so got assaulted. So and so this happened. If he was here, that wouldn't have happened. It's like no one's paying attention. Like they're letting these guys run wild. I'm like, so and my thing is, so what I try to do with the staff that I work, so I try to kind of like guide them, like the way I see things. You know,
Yeah.
you have to be aware of your surroundings. Like there's no such thing of, oh, I'm not going to get assaulted. Look, this is a prison. You never know when it's coming. But if
Yeah.
you are aware of your surrounding, you know, as far as your staff members you're working with, who's your strongest and who's your weakest. So you can delegate certain tasks. If you know so and so is not good with confrontation, guess what? Hey, I don't want you in that back room today because that's where those guys hang out. If stuff goes bad, you won't be able to handle it. So
Right.
it's like being able to delegate the right tasks to the right people and make sure everybody is in a certain position. If stuff do go bad, and by the time we get the response team on the unit, we kind of have it like situated. But when you have the wrong staff at the wrong place and something goes bad, man, it goes bad. And there's
Yeah.
no one to blame. There's no one to blame but the staff on the unit or the senior staff on the unit.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, that's the key thing about leadership. One of the things that I've learned over and over, being a business owner doesn't mean you're a leader. Your leadership starts before you ever become a business owner. And if you can't operate with integrity and uprightness and willingness to stand, like, okay, I take all this information in and then can decipher it and filter it and say, okay, everything that somebody has educated me on, here's what's applicable to my situation. I mean, that's what we do with education college. They
Yeah,
teach us a lot of stuff in college, and then we get out here in the real world, and it's like, okay, here's what's applicable.
yeah,
This here is really where it's at. That's not happening with the notary, in my opinion. In some cases, it's people are trying to implement everything that everybody is saying, and everybody is talking a little different.
hmm
That's where the problem comes in at, and it's like somebody just has to stand up and be like, "Hey, I was incorrect," or "I got you out of respect. That's not applicable, and here's why." And see, a true leader or educator, if you share with them that, "Hey, I hear what you said, but I just found this out. If that notary person can't accept that you found out something that is true for your situation in your state, and they cop an attitude about it, then that tells me, okay, there's something wrong with their character. Are you worried that now if everybody else from that state finds out that what you've been saying is not applicable, they're not going to spend money with you? Is that the concern? You get what I'm saying? Because one of the things I learned from one preacher, he said, anger is a mask for fear. So when a person gets angry, a lot of times it's because they're fearful that there's going to be some kind of loss. They're fearful that, oh man, if people understood this, they might not throw dollars this way. So what do? We do stuff to diminish the person or persons that are saying things. And we see that in the news media all the time, whether political, non-political, all of that. Somebody says something, and then we immediately get into that cancel culture. So they say something that's opposite of the norm. Okay, we got to get rid of them. And more than likely, the getting rid of them is because you're concerned that it's going to affect you financially. That's where I believe a lot of it's at, So I'm angry at that notary who made that mistake. I forgot to tell them myself. But if I own up to it, I'm going to do what? I'm going to get pinged, and that's going to cause financial loss for me. And that's going to put me in a powerless position to negotiate that I want more revenue. I want more contracts from this entity. So I'm gonna throw the notary under the bus. And that can happen. But then there's other companies that have stood up and that I've had some issues. And they's like, nah, Grip, what you said is correct. Don't worry about it. We're going to take care of it. And then I get a note saying, okay, everything is good. The signing company or the title company is cool. They understand your state law or what the situation is. And then I keep getting orders from them. So it goes both ways. So it's like, it's just doing what's right. That's just basic human decency. That's what we say that we want out of life. We want every human being to treat other human beings correctly and to be there for them. And I think that applies when you're a business owner even more, because you have other bodies that you are working with and helping out.
No, that what I completely agree with. I completely agree with everything that you say, Griff. It's like the stuff that I've been dealing with lately with those signing companies the one I was telling you about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Till this day, I never heard back from them. Just because I told them I refused to do the signing based on what the client was telling me, and that's what these the notaries need to realize is that if they reach out to you for a signing, then you reach out to the signer, and you can feel like there's something that is wrong. The signer don't want to sign, or the signer is saying she's not aware, especially if you're dealing with an elderly. Because when you're dealing with an elderly, you have to keep in mind that you have to try to understand like their mental state of being. Like some people has dementia, so if they can talk to a company the day before, they agree to everything, then the next day something happened, they was like, no, I don't remember, or I'm not signing it. So in my situation the other day, that's exactly what happened. They were trying to send me out to this client. I reached out to the client, and the first thing she said was, I'm not signing because I don't know who they are. Even though with the signing company, one representative put me on three-way with her, it was just a huge mess. It got to the point where I emailed them and I told them, hey, I'm not going to accept the signing because one, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to put myself in any situation. I don't want to risk my commission. And if the signer is saying that she's not comfortable with signing, what you telling me, well, she told me yesterday she's ready to go. If you can be there at 9:00, that didn't happen. So notaries you need to realize that you are able to say no. You can say no. If something is not right with you, or you don't feel comfortable with something, you don't have to do it. Like they can find another notary. Like you have to you have to stand your ground. You have to stand to your belief. So you don't have to do what these signing companies are telling you to do. So because there are notaries out there that's doing stuff that's unlawful, and they feel like every notary, they feel like if they reach out to a certain, like to a notary, so if so and so did this for me, then guess what? If he's not available, let me reach out to this notary. Most likely they're doing the same thing. Then they come
Yeah.
across guys like us, be like, nah, hold up now. Yeah, we ain't doing this. This is not right. This is per the state law. I can't do this. Now they're looking at it, they're looking at us wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But like to all new notaries, just know that you don't have to take a signing if you don't feel right. Simple as
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't like, this is, we're independent. We didn't apply for a job. And that's why I keep saying the difference between what we're doing here and as a notary and our W-2 is that to be a W-2 employee really costs, outside of college, costs very little money, because you're working with, let's just say Walmart, and then all of a sudden you get an opportunity to go work at Kmart. How much does it cost you in dollars to go and apply at Kmart? Just a little bit of gas,
That's it.
or really you just hop online and you apply. You
Yep.
apply for the organization, and then they say either yay or nay. It hasn't cost you anything, and they give you a $7 pay raise.
Mhm.
Win-win. It costs you nothing except for some time to get a $7 pay raise. Let's say a bigger company, like I used to work for Booz Allen Hamilton, and then I went from Booz Allen to Deloitte, big Fortune 500 companies, billions of dollars of contracts that they get darn near on a daily basis. I went from under 100K with one from Booz to over 100K with the other. Cost me nothing but time to apply. But when you open a business, there's money that you got to put into it. There's skin in the game from you, and buy-in from your family and all of that. And you might not make any real money the first 5 years.
Yep.
That's the difference from what we do here. So that's why I'm saying it's very important, in my opinion, that people are educated properly and under the right guidelines per their state law, because they're putting $2 and $3 grand into this business, and in some cases more than what they should, in order to do this business. And then you've been educated incorrectly, because somebody's like, well, this is what I like doing over here. This is what worked for me. All right, cool. But what's supposed to work for me? I don't know. I mean, that's your state, but pay me $400 and I'll teach you some stuff. And if I'm wrong, and look, and this is to everybody out there, if I am wrong, please educate me, help me, because I'm just sharing as I'm allowed to, and I have a right to, my viewpoint and my opinion on what I've been told from other people and what I actually see and experience. So if I'm wrong, I'm fine with being corrected, and I come on here and be like, yo, I was wrong. What they said is the way we're supposed to be doing it, and guess what? I'm going to do it too.
Yep.
But until then, I got to roll with what works for me. And that's all I'm saying for y'all. Roll with what works for you. Just make sure you can deal with the consequences of it. I know I'm taking a chance talking about this stuff and talking the way I'm talking, because there's companies out there that's probably like, we don't like Griff. Oh, we don't want to use Griff because he might not do it the way we want to do it. If you come talk to me, I will. I'm not going to do it the way somebody else told me to do it. I do things the way the company that I am being paid for wants me to do it. That's the difference. See, a lot of people take what I'm saying the wrong way. I'm saying I do things the way the company wants me to do them. And I can't really think of any company that has ever asked me to do something outside of the confines of my state law emphatically. Now, of course, but that they know that it's wrong. Like, okay, we know that it's wrong, and we want you to do it anyway. If they, there's companies that have asked me to do stuff that they didn't know, and they based it off of other notaries doing it, like everybody else did it, so we didn't think that was illegal, because, and they told me, they said, well, you're responsible for knowing your state law, so we ask a notary to do something and they do it, we assume that they know that they should be doing it because that's their responsibility. That's not ours as the title company or signing company or lender.
Exactly.
We got our own rules and regulations to follow. So when we asked a notary, hey, to do this, all they had to do was, if they would have told us like you told us, Griff, we've been like, all right. So when they told me and they said something, I said, well, this is what I understand. And they're like, you know what? You're right. Okay, let me look. Compliance department. Hey, the compliance department said you're correct. We didn't know. My bad. Here, this is how we want to address it from going forward. Boom. Nobody's hurt in the process. It's a conversation between adult people who own businesses. You're a business owner, they're a business owner. You have a conversation with them, they have a conversation with you. Now, where it can get sticky is when you, the business owner, you're communicating with somebody who's an employee and they don't understand. And all they know is, I got to get this done.
Yeah.
And you're not doing it. You're not doing what I want, because I might get bonuses for everything that comes back that's error free. And you have an error in there or a perceived error because I don't know your law. I'm just a scheduler or post closer, and I just need you to put your stamp here. I just need you to do this. And you're like, but I can't do that. And in their mind, they're like, okay, man, that's an error. That means I'm not going to get my bonus money.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going on. And I don't understand. Well, part of the reason, when your mind isn't in that direction, you can't see what's going on. You don't pick up on it. It's almost like, you don't see the signs when they're on the cell phone, and then you come in the room and they're like, oh. And you're like, why every time I come in, you slam the cell phone down and you won't let me see it. And you keep changing the little swipe pattern on it. Something ain't, hold up, what's going on here?
Right.
And I'm trying to, and you sleeping, and I'm trying to use your fingerprints to open the phone, but you got slick and use your toenail, your toe as a fingerprint thing, so they won't. You're like, wait a minute, can't you see the signs that something isn't right?
Yep.
They never want you to come pick them up from work at a certain time. They always want to meet you around the corner. Yeah, I'm gonna go get me some coffee from Starbucks. Just meet me at the Starbucks. Well, how about I come down to your job? Nah, you don't want to come to my job. Nah, you don't want to do that. Nah, you don't want to, trust me, you don't want to meet them people. And then you slide up in there and you like,
yep.
Hold up. What her hand doing like this on him for? Why she talking to him like that? He don't hold the door for me.
That's the truth, man.
Start finding out about that work husband.
You sit there and you see old girl and she be twirling her finger around her. I'm like, wait a minute, she don't ever twirl her finger around her hair for me. You start seeing the signs, but if your mind isn't in that realm, if you're not paying attention, you can miss the obvious signs of stuff going on around you and miss out on things. So that's all I'm saying. So again, I do what the companies ask me in accordance with the NNA guidelines, because we're what? Certified through them. I'm certain. So we'll take this example. Q is the signing company. Caprinas is the title company. Y'all come to me and say, I need you to do ... Matherin, he's the NNA. The signing company and the title company says, well, we're picking Grip because he's NNA certified. That's a part of our requirement. And we expect the NNA to train him in accordance with the proper guidelines so that they can do things so it doesn't impact funding. But then a title company asked me to do something and say, well, Grip, we want you to do ... Are you going to do it? Well, the way the NNA trained me was boom. No. That ain't Okay, but if you hired me because I'm NNA certified, why wouldn't you want me to do what NNA says? NNA certified me, and that's the reason why, and that's what your requirement, that I be NNA certified. So now I'm going to execute my notary signing agent duties as an NNA certified signing agent, and you're saying that that's not good enough, that I need to do something else. So now my concern is, if I do something else, does that void my notary insurance? Because if I do it wrong, now what happens? So this is what I'm talking about, you know. So if you ask me, I'm gonna do stuff in accordance with the NNA because that's who I got trained by, that's who I got certified by, that's who y'all told me I had to do. So why wouldn't I abide by their guidelines? And especially with the NNA says what? You don't follow instructions that go against your state guidelines. So with all of that information being said, anybody who's educating notaries, anybody who's offering advice, it's supposed to be done in such a way that it doesn't deter you from following your state guidelines. So trying to pit me against somebody or anybody against anybody is wrong, because the first thing you have to question what Griff says is, what Griff saying going to conflict with my state guidelines? It's either yes or no. That's the bottom line. If it is, Griff, I like you, but I ain't listening to you. And I accept, and I respect that, and I accept that, and that's the way I want it to be. And then I don't mind somebody educating me to that fact, so that now I can be educated and help another notary out. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's why I say we're colleagues in this. As colleagues, we look out for each other, and we don't give bad information. I mean, you don't give bad information to your kids, to your wife, to your brother. I mean, we don't do that. If we're supposed to be family, we got to look out for each other. So somebody had a birthday.
Yeah, looks like they're saying happy.
Yeah, we go mobile.
Happy birthday.
All right, we go mobile.
Enjoy that
Happy
Starbucks.
Yeah, yeah. Go get you some Starbucks and everything, and all of that, and spend as much money as you want on yourself. Yeah, Griff
Treat
said,
yourself.
Yeah, Griff says spend as much money as you want on yourself celebrating your birthday.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Go deep in your pockets.
Oh man.
So Q, how things been going up there with you in Philly, man?
Things are going all right. You know, it's a little slow. Still getting here and there appointments coming up. Applications, seen a lot of applications coming through. You know, I'm kind of taking, this is my first year, my first January, so I'm taking you know, some of the advice from the elders that have been around for some time, saying that this is a slow time. So, you know, I'm taking what I can when it comes to loan signing. General notary work is actually popping though. A lot of power of attorneys, a lot of wills. Like we were discussing this morning, when I was talking to you, I did meet with that estate planner. He does a lot of personal finances for people. It seems like a really good opportunity. Since he does a lot of the personal finances for elders, a lot of times between he and a lawyer that he works with, his lawyers in Delaware. So I'm right on the state lines between Delaware and Pennsylvania. So he's got a lawyer that he works with in Delaware, but he doesn't really have anybody that he's working with in Pennsylvania to help him out when it comes to those documents. So whenever he's got, you know, something available where they're transferring, you know, making him a trustee or making, you know, somebody else a trustee, one of his partners that are working with, that's where they will see a need for me, especially in Pennsylvania. A lot of people, especially around here with the rise in numbers for COVID, a lot of the elders aren't wanting to leave their homes. So getting those stuff taken care of is a little bit difficult for them. Also here in Pennsylvania, a lot of the banks are stopping doing regular general notary work. And if it doesn't pertain to a banking issue with their bank, they are not notarizing in the banks up here, especially where I'm at. So I would definitely encourage people to check with your local banks to see if they're still offering free notary services and what services they are offering when it comes to notaries, because that was some news to me. And I just dropped off a stack of business cards at a couple banks around me, just because now people are coming in expecting to be able to get something notarized and they're turning them away. So, but you
Yeah.
know.
Well,
Yeah,
the
you're
network
right. And a
bank-
while back, I heard about the banks doing that. I never really said much about it because I didn't want people to like take it and run with it, thinking that, you know, because some people's, again, when you all hyped up, you're like, okay, you just busting up in banks and stuff and be like, yo, Griff said y'all need us and everything. So I heard about it and now I was like, okay, and I never really looked into it. So that's part of the other reason why I never really went back and talked about it. But now hearing what you're saying, yeah, almost a year ago I heard something similar, and that tells me that things have progressed to the point to where, you know, now they're just not doing any notarizations at all, which is another stream of income
Right.
within the notary realm that you can do, is just letting them know. So I mean, you can find ways to advertise when you go to your local bank. Just ask them, say, hey, do you notarize? And that's one of the things that I do, like with the local UPS store, since the UPS store does notarizations. But you could simply ask them, are there any type of notarizations that you don't do?
Right.
And if there are, here's my card, just send them my way.
Yeah.
So one of the ways, because see, here's the thing in the marketing, especially working, even with the bank, you don't want them thinking that you're trying to take all of their business.
Right.
So you communicate that I'm here as an assist, as a helpmeet, as the good book will say. I'm here to help you expand your reach and your ability and your services to your current client base. So if y'all ever get to a point to where you're too busy, and I'm marking myself like that all the time. I tell them, say, me and my son work together, or I will say like me and my team, and you know, and I know other notaries. So if I come across an opportunity, I'll let the other notaries know, hey, you know, be on the lookout. I might call you or shoot you a text that. And when somebody hits me up and say, hey, yeah, we need this help, and I'm busy, I instantly refer them to the other notary, and I let them work out the fee amount. I don't take nothing off the top or off the back or none of that. I'm like, talk to Erica. I'll send them to Erica, and she cuts whatever deal she cuts with them. And if they end up just using Erica all the time and never hit me back up, then that's fine with me. Because what does that do? That's like, well, because see, Erica doesn't have the network of all these other notaries. I'm her network. So if she doesn't have the ability to do, she tell them to come to me. But I know all these other notaries. So that person would be like, okay, well, let me ask Griff, do you know another notary? Yeah, I know this one too over here. I know that one in Williamsburg. I know this one in Suffolk. And I can do it. So yes, it's like being a signing company. And no, I don't get paid for it, and I don't make any revenue off of it. But what I believe I'm doing is helping keep the notary industry strong.
Right.
And also giving an opportunity for people to know more about mobile notaries and to gain respect for us, because there are people out here who have done some very dishonest things. And I just want to make sure that people are aware that, hey, mobile notaries are here to work alongside the existing in-house notaries. We're not here to try to steal your business. At least me, I'm not. And I just want to let you know that if you need me, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to do it. And I only found out about that because I went in at an off time, like right before, on a Saturday, right before they closed. And I was just like, hey, you know, if you guys, if I needed something notarized right now, is your notary in? And they're like, well, our notary isn't really here on Saturdays, but if it's not a banking document, we wouldn't notarize it anyway. And I said, oh, well, do you still have a lot of people coming in looking for notaries? And they're like, yeah, you know, we feel bad that we have to turn them away. And boom, that's the window, you know, and that's where I was able to slide right in and say, well, I just happen to be a notary, you know, and I can also actually come here to the bank if that's something that, you know, you guys would like. And pull out the card holder, just jump a stack on them, boom, and we keep moving. But I started that with my local bank, and then I started going to a couple of branches of my local bank just to show my face because I am a member there, just asking the same question. I already know what the answer is,
Right.
but it just extends my reach out in my general area.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And because one of the questions that I get a lot um from signers is, hey, can you notarize other documents than loan? And I'm sitting here like, yeah, why you ask? Well, we've notarized about, a year ago, and then we asked the notary, could they notarize some stuff for us? And they told us they were forbidden from doing that. And I'm like, no. So, and here's the answer that I give, and it might make some people upset. But I tell them straight up, I said, the reason why they said no is because it's not enough revenue coming from what you're asking them to do. Because they are seriously complex. They're like, I don't understand. I thought notaries could notarize stuff, but they're saying they don't do it, or they're forbidden from doing it. And I don't understand why they would be forbidden from doing it. And I said, because the revenue from that, because in Virginia, we can only charge $5 per stamp.
Right.
And since I'm already here, there's no travel fee for me to charge you.
Right.
So that's why. And they're like, okay, now I understand. But I can do it for you. And I just tell straight up.
Right.
Okay, what you want me to do? And I mean, I've been in signings where, and you can, if you pay it again, reading the room, paying attention, like Matthew was saying, understanding your environment. And if you get a notary, a signer asking you questions like, hey, so how long you been notary? So you do other notarizations and stuff. The moment they ask you something like that, yeah, I do. I say, look, if you ever need me to notarize something for you, outside of what we're doing here, just let me know. And
Right.
if you don't mind, I can give you my card and everything, and I'll be more than happy. Outside of what we're doing here, just let me know to do that. If you don't mind, if you own two devices, Charlene, you might have to turn one of them off. More than happy. I'm not echoing like that. Just let me know to do that. If you don't mind, if you own two devices, Charlene, you might have to turn one of them off. More than happy. I'm not echoing like that. Just let me know to do that.
Hey, Charlene, you on?
If you own two devices, Charlene, you might. All right, can you hear me? Yeah, if you're coming in on two different devices, when I'm talking, that's why you're getting that echo like that. So try to hop back on, Charlene.
Yeah, but when you allow yourself to be personable and be a part and be present in the experience, you'll find more business for yourself. If you're not in there just thinking boom, 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 I'm going to get this signing out, get my money and keep moving, but you allow yourself to be present and be present with those people and give them an experience, you open yourself up to more business.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You're absolutely right about that, man. Because, like I said, the phone call that I got today was from somebody that I helped with services a few weeks ago, and they had my card and they reached out to me to help somebody else out that was in need of a mobile notary service. So it's you're absolutely right about that. You always have to get present. And making sure that when you're providing that service, you are doing your absolute best, man. Just folks just be in a hurry to try to get to the next appointment, but what you fail to realize, there's some loan signing that I've done right until this day. I get that client calling me for all type of notary appointments. Hey, do you do power of attorneys? Yeah. You do wills? Yeah.
Yeah, you get a couple. You get a couple with the power of attorney and living will and a medical power of attorney, and you're doing it for both of them. You're making more off of that than you're probably going to make off of the loan signing at this point right now.
And that's what people fail to realize. And one thing that I like is I like doing like hospital signings, especially if they need me to bring a witness, because that's an extra fee that I can charge, because I'm not going to displace someone without being able to provide them with a fee. A couple of weeks ago, I did one at a hospital. So I brought my wife and I brought my niece.
Mm-hmm.
They needed 2 witnesses. They didn't have a witness. The nurses there didn't want to sign as a witness. And I was like, all right, well, for me to do this, it's going to cost you this much. But if you want me to bring a witness, it's going to cost you that much. I was like, oh, yeah, fine. No problem. I went there, signed the power of attorney that they had from their attorneys. And in less than 30 minutes, I made more than I would have made from doing like a loan signing. And then I just kept it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is correct.
The opportunities are there. Just that you have to be willing to take them. You have to be willing to let people know what you are doing. And a lot of people, what Griffin was saying about how he'll call another notary to give them signings. A lot of people won't be doing that because they have the scarcity mindset.
Right.
Because they feel like, oh, if I give them this signing today, they might use them again, and it's me losing out on money. But there's no such thing as you losing out on money like that. If you have a scarcity mindset, of course you're gonna look at it like that. But it's how I see it now, man. It's like, look, if I give somebody this, it's bound to come back to me, and there's no need for me to even feel like that. So, and most of these notaries, they think it's all about making the money, but at the same time, you have to build that relationship because that's what's going to help you in the long run.
Yeah. And somebody had asked a question earlier about how to make money on Ron here it is. How can a person be successful on Ron when Ron platforms that provide clients on? You can. I mean, if they bring you on, you can't make money. You have to get your own clients. You have to work with companies that need notaries to do Ron, and not just the little $5 stuff that these platforms are paying. So the Ron thing is simply you either say like Dot Verify, they don't do all of this. We bring you clients. You get your own clients, use the platform, you charge what you're supposed to charge in accordance with your state law. And then you have other companies like Notarize that will say, okay, you sign up with us and we'll get the clients for you, but we're going to only pay you $5 for each time you stamp, and then maybe $1 for every time after that. And then after you've gotten so good at it, we might pay you a little bit more. As I've always said, the more you want somebody to do for you, the less they're going to pay you. So the more you want a notary platform to provide you clients, and so you ain't got to print and sit back and chill and relax, sip, smoke, whatever. I'm not going to pay you a whole lot, and I'm doing all the work. That's basic business there. I'm not going to pay you a grip where I'm doing all of the legwork, and you just sit there, click, click, click in 3 minutes, and I'm supposed to be giving you $25, $50 a pop. No, it don't work that way. No. So that's where Amy from Cyberize, she set up her own platform. Yep. And if you're interested, I would say go to her. Let me get her website and everything.
Yes. Cyberize, it's an awesome service. I use it. Amy is amazing. For the price that you're paying on a monthly, you're going to get that back in your first signing. The way her pricing structure is set up, you're going to make that back your very first signing. And it's worth it just to have access to her because she's incredible when it comes to Ron.
Yeah. So I'll put the link in the description. This here is her. Let's see how I want to. This here is her site. And go there. She's out of Columbus, Ohio. Available the notaries are available 24/7. That's her number. That's her email. Everything you need to know is right there. So I would strongly advise you, if you're interested in Ron, hit her up. She will guide you and all of that. Now, if you're going in there trying to just get somebody to make life easy for you, and you don't put any skin in the game, then this may not necessarily work. Okay. This may not work for you the way you think. This whole live is all about you being a great notary and taking responsibility. It's not about me against somebody or somebody against me, because at the end of the day, both of us could be right, both of us could be wrong. But what really matters is that you doing what you're supposed to do in accordance with your state law. And if you got that popping, you good. You good. Doesn't matter what I say. So that's really where it's at, for me, everything. So you can make money doing Ron. You just got to realize there is, there's money that you got to spend to get into the game. You got to buy the digital certificate. You got to have the webcam. You got to have the lighting. I mean, I got my lights. You can't be all, hold on.
Well, actually, Griff, something that I found out in Pennsylvania, you actually don't need the digital certificate. Pennsylvania requires you to keep whatever the platform requires is what Pennsylvania recommends. But
you can't be doing Ron like this, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't be doing Ron like this, or be having, you sitting up there trying to do Ron and everything.
Tales from the
You
dark.
don't want nobody to see what's behind you in your room and everything. You ain't made your bed in 3 weeks and stuff like that, and you doing Ron like this. Okay, you can't be doing Ron like that. But go ahead on, Q.
Yeah, so definitely check what your state's requirements are when it comes to remote online notarization. Pennsylvania does not require a digital signature. All it requires is a signature and a statement stating that the document was electronically signed. And there's still a lot of gray area when it comes to Ron with the states like Pennsylvania. They approved it for all, and I think I've mentioned this before in one of your lives. They approved it for the state, but certain counties aren't accepting. They're not accepting Ron signed documents.
Yeah, they're not accepting. Yeah, there's certain ones that's not accepting digitally signed documents.
Right.
And,
thank you.
Yeah, and that's the key. That's the whole key thing about Ron. This is what I've been trying to get people to understand, and I got a playlist out there about Ron, notary stuff. The courthouse has to accept it. The lender has to accept it, and the title has to accept Ron notarized documents. If any one of those three entities says no, it's a wash.
Right.
So if you have the state, if the state says we accept it at the courthouse, and the lender says we accept it, but if the title company, their internal processes, they have not gotten things in such a place where they can say, yes, we will accept Ron, then they're not going to do Ron. Even though the lender may accept it, they're just not going to do it. So like I had one recently call me up, the attorney who did the closing said, hey, Griff, the title company, they need copies of all the videos that you did for their closings, their Ron closings. So I went on Doc Verify, downloaded everything, uploaded it to a secure Dropbox account, sent them the link. Boom, haven't heard anything, so I guess everything's good. So you got to make sure your compliance is there, all of that. So that means when you're doing your Ron notary online, you can't be sitting up there trying to push up on somebody, because it's recorded. It's like, girl. All right, look, after this last stamp, you give old Griffy Griff a call there. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll come to you. Girl, I will break protocol for you. You know what I'm saying? I will do that. I gotta look. You ain't got to worry. I got a whole pack of masks over here. I got gloves. You ain't got to worry about. I got hand sanitizer.
Man.
I will be there.
Griff sound like Country Wayne Buddy.
Yeah, yeah. Acting like Big Jaw. But that's what I'm saying is, you can't be up there playing around on on um on Ron, because at any point in time they can say we need to see the videos.
No.
You can't be sitting up there like, look, telling them or giving. Oh, most definitely you can't give advice then.
Yeah, you're on video.
Oh, let me share this, and I wish I can remember who I was talking to. Me and Q. I think me and Q might have been talking about it. Okay, real quick, and Q might be able to with now I haven't done any on Amy's platform yet, Cyberizing. But when you load up the documents, do the signers get to see the whole loan packet or just the pages that they have to notarize? I mean, sign.
On Cyberize It?
Yeah.
They just see the pages that are right in front of them. They don't see
that require their signature. So any page that doesn't require a signature they don't see, right?
Correct.
Okay, boom. Okay, now this here, and this sort of epiphany hit me the other day. This backs up what I've always said about don't worry about explaining documents, because and I'm going to do a video. I promise you, I will do a video about this. In the world of Ron, when you upload the document, the only thing they see is the pages that has their thing for their signature. So what is there for you to explain? You want to talk about the ultimate keep your mouth shut platform thing? That is Ron, because the documents get uploaded. Now you, the notary, you see every page, right, whether it needs to be signed or not, but they don't.
Yeah, they're only seeing what you're tagging, and what ends up happening is you tag before you send it to them. Mm-hmm. And then once they get it, they have like this next button. Next, next. Where's your next signature at? Next, sign here, and that's what they're doing.
So, and I know we at the 3-hour mark, and I probably should have mentioned this earlier. I meant to, but oh well. Here's the deal, and this is where it clicked in for me. I'm sitting here looking at the Ron, and nobody's worried about me saying the daggone thing about the documents, because they don't see the first page of the whatchamacallit, the hazardous insurance document. Because the hazardous insurance document is in 2 pages. The first page talks about the hazardous insurance item number 2. And if somebody asks me about the document, I tell them the most important part on that hazardous insurance document is item number 2, which says you have to have a A-rated company or better if you decide to switch insurance companies. Read it for yourself. That number 2, that's what it says. Everything else about that document is about making sure you have homeowners insurance. And then the second page is what? The signature. Same thing with the amortization. The amortization schedule. 7 pages, 8 pages. They don't see all of that. Same thing with the first payment letter page. Sometimes this first payment, the signature is on the second page. The affidavit of occupancy and financial status. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes the second page, the signature page is on the second page. So all these documents that have the assumption, the VA assumption that nobody can assume the loan without the VA's approval. See how I'm describing the documents to y'all? Y'all didn't think I know how to do that, did you? I know how to describe documents.
Let them know, bro.
So the VA assumption, the PUD, the Planned Unit Development Rider, because they live in a homeowner association that has covenants that they need to abide by. You see what I'm saying? I know what I'm talking about, y'all. Don't think that Griff just talking out the side of his neck. Those documents have the page on the second, third, and fourth, the signature page. That's where it's at. So if any of those documents is in that loan packet, they will not see the content that they are agreeing to sign on. They're just seeing it because they should have received a copy before they ever got to you. Now, I did have a couple that did not see the documents, so I had to stop everything, email them the copy of the documents, after I got permission. No, matter of fact, I didn't. Did I email them? I can't remember whether I emailed them. I know I had to talk to the title company about getting them a copy of the document. They might have told me to go ahead on and do it, but they got the document, and while everything was recording, they sat there and read the document. So he was in one location, she was in another. Email went to both of them with the copy of the full loan packet, and they sat there and looked it over, and then we proceeded with the signing.
Yeah, and I mean the way that Ron works, it almost works better that way, because when you get the document and you have your appointment, especially with Cyberizer, I don't know how anything else works. It takes time to tag those documents. So if you're sending it out to them, or they have a copy of the document, you have your appointment, they can be reading over the documents while you're tagging.
Correct. Right. And
then
then
when
that's
it's time
up to
to
and that's up to the title company to make sure that they get them the documents. So the whole time I was under the impression that they got the documents. Now, that wasn't the only couple that hadn't got documents. I came across others, but they said I ain't worried about it because I've done this before, so I'm good. So they're like, I just need to sign. So we went through and we was done. And our tagging the documents can take some time, all of that. And that's where you need the full version of Adobe, because if they send you the documents without the document having the proper venue, when you upload it, most of the platforms do not allow you to change the document once you upload it. So even if you say, well, I like Doc Verify doesn't give you the option to strike through the bad venue and initial, or if you type the correct venue, it just looked like text over text. It doesn't like white it out or anything of that nature. So I would assume the same thing with Amy's, correct?
So Amy has a workaround with that. If you're using a Windows-based computer, you can create a MS Paint or something along those lines. You can jump into a Word document, and then use your snippet tool, and the snippet tool will leave that white background in the background of it, and you can place that right on top of the venue. You can copy and paste it right on top of the venue, so that way you don't have that ghost text that's sitting there in the background.
Right. Now that's before you upload it or after you?
No, that's before you upload it. Once it's in there, it's in there.
That's what I'm talking about. So
yeah, once it's in there, it's there.
Once it's in there, once you upload the document, you can add, like with Doc Verify, you can add the date and stuff. You can hand type and fill in blank lines, but you can't white anything out. Like create a type Virginia with a white background to cover up Pennsylvania. Right. You can't do that once you into the product. So that's what I'm saying. So these are things that people need to understand about Ron, because everybody's rushing like, oh, I'm gonna be Ron, and then I ain't got, and I get it. You don't want to print. You don't want to have all these expenses. I just spent $500 on toner. Okay. For the 4 printers that I got, and I just bought a 5th one and everything. I happened to catch one on sale off of if y'all not with Notary Dash and Prestige Notaries, when you sign up with them, they have a membership thing with Office Max or Office Depot, and you can get a discount through them. So I had, before we did our thank you, I had already ordered it and everything, because for the training stuff that I was doing, I said I need me a printer that I want to use for that, and I was like, oh, okay. I think it wound up being like $2 something. Just a little over 200, and I was like, okay, I'm going to snatch that up before you showed me all the other stuff. Now I know where to go and look other places. So if y'all haven't seen the Notary Tech Talk video, y'all need to go check that out with Q from last Tuesday. Excellent. Show you how to catch some good deals. But that's what I like about the Ron. So I guess the question becomes this: if you can do a Ron without explaining the documents, why can't you do a face-to-face the same way? Because it's just as valid. So again, because I'm not going against. Okay, so notary trainers, I'm not trying to put y'all out of business. I'm not trying to say that y'all are poo-poo or none of that. I'm just saying, looking at the totality of it, if that is the most important thing that a notary is supposed to do, that in order to be successful in this business, we have to know the documents. But when you are on Ron, you see the documents. How can you explain something that somebody can't see?
Especially if they're working on a cell phone.
Right. Go for it, Caprice.
So I was just thinking about this. Obviously, California is not Ron. I know
Yeah.
they had some stuff that was in court. I think like a week ago, saying they're gonna take a look into it like next year. I'm not saying that this is against what you guys are talking about, but I don't envision that California is going to be in a sense where they're only going to show one page. That wouldn't fly here because California is pretty particular about stuff,
Right.
as obviously Griff knows. So they're going to make sure you go through everything, and that's why I
Right.
don't think it's going to be implemented like so fast. Because judging by like what Q said, he's like saying, "Well, you go in here and do MS Paint and like go and mark it out." I just can't imagine that because then you're going to see, I would think that you see more mistakes, people going in and marking out. And I'm not sure if there's only a specific area where you'll be able to mark out or if it's on the page. I can go on the page, and if I select anything on the page, I can white it out.
No.
I could, so it's not like that.
No, it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. You basically, once the document is, because when you upload it, the document is uneditable.
Correct.
Okay.
And it allows you places where you can add in the date or fill in a name, like like if it has the person's name, it says name, borrower's name, and they don't have it already pre-printed on there. So you can pre-print stuff that you can drop over top, but you can't erase terms, conditions, interest
Okay.
rate, stuff like that. You can't do any of that.
So I've done, and I'm not sure if this is even the same realm, but I've done like Doc Verify before. So like for other stuff, like property outside the state. And so obviously I just do my electronic signature, even stuff in the state. I've done it that way because the places weren't around here. Then they sent it to me to say, hey, sign this, electronically, sign this. I'm not sure if that's like similar, at least one aspect of what you guys are doing with Ron. But
yeah, it is.
It's very similar, especially when it comes to doing the signatures, like I was saying on the cell phone. Pretty much after they do their KBA, they're pressing next, and it's taking them right to where they need to sign. They can either sign with their finger or text it in the phone. We'll put that little Griff script that on it, and that's it. It's on to the next one.
Okay.
So that may be an issue for California, and they may be trying to find a way to work around that. But I mean, that's what it is. That's where we're at when it comes to that. Especially with using Adobe, you assign who needs to sign where, which is the great thing about it. Especially if you have signers in two different areas. As you're tagging it, you're assigning who needs to do this, who needs to do that. You can assign yourself stuff as well if you still need to fill in dates. Or if they leave the venue open, you can assign that to yourself, and then you start sending it out. And once one person is done with their portion of what they need to sign, then it gets sent to the next person, and then they sign where they need to sign, and then it gets sent to you, and you finish filling in whatever it is left that you left yourself to fill in prior to finalizing the document. And then you finalize it, and then you wait for payment. This is how Cyberize works. You wait to finish payment, and then you send over the document.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I didn't see the whole time when I was doing them, I honestly thought that they could see everything. And it wasn't until that one couple, the lady was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, huh? She's like, I don't see that page. And I was like, you don't? I said, what do you see? I just see everything that I'm supposed to sign. And I was like, okay, well, do you see this page that says this on it that is for your husband to sign? No, I don't see that. I said, sir, do you see this page for her? No, I was like, so y'all only see the pages that have y'all tag on. Oh, I was like, got it.
Yep. If you don't tag it for it, they don't see it.
I was like, okay. I was like, and I told him, I said, my bad. I said, I honestly didn't know. I said, because I get to see everything. I see all 45 pages that we have to go through. And I'm just assuming that y'all did too, because I never seen that side. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do a Ron thing, and I'm going to set it up to where my wife can I'm sure I might do it through stream. I'm trying to see how I can do it where she can record her thing Me and her do it together, but I have there's a program that I use called ShareX. It's a free program and it does screen recordings. So I'm gonna have to install it on her laptop. Well, I got another laptop, so I can install it on that laptop, have her do it on that laptop, screen record her side of the house, screen record my side, and then I'll just merge it together and all of that kind of stuff so everybody can see. And that's going to take me some time, but I'm seeing that's something I need to do. But it's not, depending on the state, your fees, all of that. You do have to have a good microphone. You can't be sounding janky. You got to have a decent camera. You can't be all looking all ghostly and stuff. I mean, you don't have to clean your house, but you should not steal your dress attire. You don't want to be up there in bonnets and in little WB shirts. Y'all know what that's, WB, the white shirt. You don't want to be looking like you on Cops, okay? And they don't came to your house.
Also, you want to make sure that you're on a landline and not on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's very big. You don't want any latency on your network or anything like that. You want to be hardwired right into your router, so that way you're not dealing with none of that.
And that's why, like, I got a 200-foot cord that I can run from upstairs down here for my wired connection. Because there's been times where overall, because see, my router is not even, it's about less than 20 feet away from me. So my Wi-Fi router, and I got it upgraded about 6-7 months ago. So it's like, I think I got 100 megabits, download, upload. I mean, I just want to get the top of the line because of this. But sometimes I can see that, okay, if I got a lot of stuff going on, I better load up, and I just pull that cord out. I got a Cat 6 cord, slap it in there, and the connection is fabulous and stuff. So, I mean, all of this is possible. All of this is possible. All I'm saying is we just got to do stuff correctly. So that's why I said, when I thought about it, if I can sit here and do Ron and don't have to describe documents or guide people or tell people stuff, is it really required for me to do it face to face? And if it is, I'm fine with that, but at the end of the day, what's most important? Getting them documents notarized. And even more so important for, it's even more important for Ron, because once you hit that button, you done, and you realize, daggone it, I forgot. You got to go back and do it again.
Well, actually, with Cyberize it will allow you to restart, and you can save the document prior to sending it off. But you can save it and then upload the saved document, which is still editable, and you can change or hit whatever you missed.
Gotcha. And with .verify, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So, and there have been times where, like, at the bottom of a page, there was a notarization that I forgot because .verify window is not big enough and I couldn't see it. Or here's one of the other issues with .verify. Let's say there's a page that you need to notarize, but the signer's signature isn't on there. So like for Virginia, their signature can be on another page, but in the notarial acknowledgement statement, their names have to be on the same page that you sign. So you can't have the statement saying acknowledged before me this date by John Jones and Jane Jones on one page and then your notarial signature on another. Right. So there's times where it's all on, the notarial act is on another page. If I don't put something on there to indicate on the left-hand side that page needs to be addressed, I won't remember that, that page is separate. And it needs, because when you put a marker, when you put, say, your signature on there or the stamp, it highlights it. So you'll know that these pages have either a signature or a stamp or something that needs to be dealt with. And I have forgotten, I forgot to do that. And many times I had to call them people up and witnesses, we got to hop back on, y'all. So you really, yeah, I mean, so they get frustrated with me sometimes because at the end, I review that document like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And I even make notes to myself what pages I need to make sure that has gotten signed and that I'm notarizing. And I'll go through, and then what's even worse, if you mess around and forget to put an indicator on a page that they need to do, so then they don't sign it, and then you process it, and then it's like, oh man, hey y'all, I need y'all to hop back on.
Yeah, if you leave that thing empty and you don't assign it to the right person and it's just there, you'll end up going through documents. You're like, why isn't this signed? Because you didn't assign it to anybody. So it's just an open box.
It's an open box. You got to assign it. So in short, from a fix the error standpoint, it's easier to do it face to face because you get it at home and then you scan it and then you go through and say, well, let me look at my scan. Oh man. But with Ron, and let's just say you got multiple ones you're doing back to back to back, or those signers can't hop back on, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Yep.
Because, and then especially if they're overseas, and so you really got to make sure your Ron is done correctly. Because if it is not, and you hit that button and then you shoot it, they're going to be, it's going to be like, oh snap. And you got to eat the cost. You can't sit there. See, with Ron, you cannot be like one lady told me, she said, yeah, we pay this lady real good. And then the moment she made a mistake, she's talking about, you don't pay me enough to fix mistakes, even though it was her mistake. You try that with Ron, you talking about really messing up your whole notary career. Because you got people in another state most of the time or another country, and you are really negatively affecting the professionalism of everybody from this really. And with that very, I mean, a lot of times I do signing company, but I get a lot of direct clients with Ron, and you're affecting them, especially their attorneys. And that attorney is like, okay, can we depend on you? I got you. So if I tell them, I say, as soon as you can get me the documents. And even with the Ron, I still get documents late sometimes because that's just the way, the nature of the business. And I'm supposed to meet these people at 1:00, and I don't get the documents until 12:30. And it's 75 pages, and I got to tag all that stuff. And here we go. And even though, they might be paying me good for doing it, but it takes time to tag all of that stuff and to make sure, and then upload it, and then double check your upload that you didn't forget anything.
Double checking the tags.
Tags. If I pre-put the dates in for my notary expiration, one time I actually put expires in 2021 instead of 2022. So I'm in there. So I took a chance and I sort of X'd it out and then added the initial signature, the initial block for myself on the document, and then added in 2022. They took it, I was like, all right, cool. But I mean, it's Ron, you really have to pay attention to detail. And if you're not a technology person, if internet and computer things confuse you and frustrate you, you may not want to do Ron. I'll be honest with you. You may not want to do Ron because those people, they're not as patient. They're not patient like they are with the face to face.
No, I had my very first Ron experience that I had. I mean, luckily they were it was a lady that was apparently a big fan of mine. I'm sure I've shared here. I do free pop-up notary services. She saw my services.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a wonderful woman, was very patient with me. One signature took me about an hour and a half, and I still got it wrong. And I ended up driving to this lady's house because I was like, you know what? I can't keep you on this camera this long. I really do appreciate everything that you've done and how patient you've been with me while I'm trying to figure this out. As much as I knew that I thought that I knew what I was doing, I kept on forgetting things. And then I started to get upset, and then I started to become I had a fog in my head, like, why am I doing this? You know,
Yeah.
and I start talking to myself like, all right, Q, make sure you tag this properly. Make sure you assign this. Make sure you put in, you know, the image for your stamp. And I
Yeah.
kept on messing up. I ended up having to drive 45 minutes to this lady's house for free because I was just like, you know what? I didn't even charge her for the notarization. She sat there with me for an hour and a half, and she was like, okay, you can get this. You can do it this time. And she's cheering me on.
Mhm.
And you know, and that's what ended up happening. But I got a full understanding of how to do the tagging in that session. I messed up enough where I know exactly what I'm doing now. But I'll be honest with you, and I will continue to be a fan and put Amy out there because I really believe in everything that she's doing. She has so much training that's available that you're not going to get from any other Ron, and her availability to her notaries is unmatched. I can't see one of the bigger companies giving the attention that Amy gives to her notaries. She's available at all times. It doesn't matter. She could be in the middle of a run and she'll tell them to hold on to help you out.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to get that type of support, and you're not going to get that type of training. You're getting training before you can even sign up with her.
Yeah. And see, that's another thing that I believe that should happen. And I'm gonna put this out here. I honestly think if somebody runs a signing company, and I'm telling y'all how to run a successful signing company, and if I was running a company, this is what I would do before any notary. Because this everybody talking about getting sample docs. Here's where your sample docs should come from: the signing company. The signing company should give you the sample docs before you do a single signing from me. I'm going to have training that it shows you how my clients want their stuff done. I'm the signing company, mastering title and escrow. How you want your stuff done? Bam! I do a training video. Boom! I put it up there. So I'm giving you free game to make things better across the board. I'm telling you, if you do this, there ain't no daggone way. And I'm not talking about the coast to coast. Yeah, I see what they're doing, but I'm talking about before you ever even get a notification. I'm gonna show you the documents that my client uses and how they want it done. If I do that, then how the heck can you mess it up?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple,
But
and it's
that
not like they
takes
don't have a
time.
line.
Right, but that takes time and effort on everybody's part. That is a huge task. But if it's done, because everybody talking about, again, now the notary is more comfortable explaining the documents. What is the biggest issue that notaries have is that even though they're being told how to explain documents from a notary trainer, they're not told how to explain that particular company's documents.
Right.
That's where the issue is, because that company is like, nah, that ain't the way we communicate information about that document. And I've had them tell me that before, because in the beginning I tried that and I messed some stuff up, and they was like, what did you tell them? They're like, nah. We don't know where you got that from, but nah. They were like, no. Look, just get the documents notarized. Just calm down, Griff. Calm down. You know how you do your baby, your child, when they all, and he's like, calm down, Griff. They pat you on the chest. Calm down. All right. Hi, yeah. Throw a little baby powder on you and everything. Throw some baby lotion. And they're like, okay. Put you in a warm bath, and they're like, okay, now, and just notarize the document. Can you do that, Griff? Yeah. Okay. Press down.
Got to swaddle them. Put them in the swaddle.
Wrap you all up. You can't even move. Only thing can move is just your hand to stamp.
Yep.
Right? Just
stick to your job. You know? Know the assignment, Griff. Know the assignment.
Right. That's it.
Yeah. So that's it. Well, fellas, I think it's about time for us to bounce on up out of here, get these people the rest of their day back. I appreciate all the folk chiming in and all of that. Thank y'all for bouncing them people out of the live stream forever. And everything. But again, I will say this here. I'm not against any notary trainer or person. All I know is I get phone calls, text messages, emails about people stressed out because they haven't done this. They haven't even taken a signing because they've been trying to figure out and get comfortable with explaining the documents. And I got people that have contacted me and said, I've been in this business for a year and ain't done one signing because I'm not comfortable with explaining the documents. And I'm sitting here like, that's not good. So my question to everybody is this. If you're a human being, which we all are, and 12 people came to you saying that they have this problem and concern after taking somebody's training, irregardless of who, how do we fix that? People coming to you, I mean, that's like if you go to pick up your kids and let's just imagine you go to pick up your kids from school and your son and your daughter and 10 other kids talk about they don't feel they can't get lunch. They can't, you know, they go to try to eat lunch and they can't eat lunch. Yeah, they're cooking food every day in the cafeteria, but you got some kids who can't get lunch. I can't get food. I can't eat. And it's like, okay, then do I just ignore this? So I started looking into it. What do you mean you can't do this? Why? What are you worried about? I can't because I'm struggling with trying to explain the documents. And then I would get with them online, and they would be sitting here fumbling over their words and stuff. And then one day it just dawned on me. I said, "Well, do you know what to do with this piece of information right here, the notarial statement?" And 80% of them was like, "No, I don't."
That's the issue.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I'm doing just like you didn't see me now. I'm like rubbing my head and I'm sitting here. I'm like, and this is like 11 o'clock at night. Wait a minute. So you pay for training, but you don't know how to notarize. Well, they told me they don't teach that. They told me, and this is a lot of people, not just the people who you think I'm talking about. A lot of, because there's notary trainers out there that y'all don't even know about. They are in the cut. There are some notary trainers out there in the cut. And I was like, oh, I didn't know they existed. And I don't even mention them because I don't want nobody getting caught up with them folk.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, all they told me was, you know, they said they're going to show me how to market my business and how to be professional and this, that, and the other. And you know, how to help people go through the documents. And I'm like, okay, got that. But you do know what to do when you see, you know, how to notarize. And they told me, nah. They was like, no. I mean, when you have somebody that tells you, I was told that instead of signing the document where it says notary signature, I just put my stamp there. I just stamp where it says notary public signature. Or because it only says notary public and it doesn't say signature of notary public, I print my name. I don't sign it. So this is the kind of stuff that I have been inundated with over the last year. This is why I'm the way I am. Because I've been hearing notaries say they don't know how to do what they're commissioned to do. And I've had notaries break stuff down. I mean, they can explain them documents left and right, but why they calling grift? Because they don't know how to notarize. Why they got blacklisted? Why they got a phone call? Ladies calling me 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, why the company told me? I'm like, no, you supposed to. Just like one lady. And I got it. Okay, let me end with this, but I got to show y'all. The only way I can do this, I have to show y'all. And I talked about this, but I didn't show y'all. She made this mistake. Yeah, she made this mistake bad. And I'm using the Virginia one, but hers was Florida. So on this document here, she was doing an all-purpose acknowledgement, and it was for a couple, and she was only putting the one person's name there. She wasn't putting both of them. She filled everything out, and she only put their name there, just his name, not both of them.
Was she supplying two? Or
No,
just
she was
doing-
only doing one. That's the thing. She only and they kept telling her you did it wrong. And I'm thinking, I'm like, well, and the way, again, going back to proper communication, the way she communicated it to me had me thinking one thing, and she didn't have it done right.
Yeah.
So she didn't put both their names. She just put his name here. And I think, and then she was putting the wife's name down here as other signer. And I was like, no, you got to put both of the names up here, which means you're only notarizing one person's signature, his.
right.
And if you're putting that there's another signer down here, then there needs to be another notarial certificate where her name is up here and then his name is down there. And I went over this, and I might have did a video about this. I think I did. And I was sitting there like, but this is what she went through, and this is another individual who had paid training. So when you got probably a couple of hundred people have called me over the last year plus, and they got all of these various different notarial issues that they're dealing with, and the kind of person I am, and I love teaching, I'm like, okay, I got to educate people on what's the right way to do stuff. So that's why I'm like, bump all of this, what you got to say about the document and how you present and guiding and, you know, pointing to stuff. If you don't get that notarial part right, and the company told her, they're like, no, we can't execute these documents. You got to redo your notarial certificates. And she just, and at first she didn't understand. And it took me about a half an hour to finally understand the whole context of what she was talking about. And then I was able to break it down. And then she understood, and she's like, oh, I didn't know that. She said, I never was told that. These are the critical, everybody talk about critical documents. This is the critical stuff that's missing.
Yeah, pretty much. That is because, just like you said, if the entire loan package is signed and your notarial act is not done, you know, that's a huge problem, and that's one thing you do not want these signing companies to be reaching out to you. It's one thing for them to reach out to you if they forgot to include a document within the package, versus where they reaching out to you because you don't know how to properly fill out your notarial act. That's a huge difference, because that just make you look uneducated, doesn't make you look professional at all as a
Right.
business owner.
So Griff, I was just gonna mention, like I think, and this is I guess where I differ in the sense of not about discussing documents, but I think you've given them an avenue, a way out. I know you like to teach, but I think the notaries are being lazy, because I know I would argue that all these people are telling them specifically go get assistance, go to NNA, where they're teaching you, where you're supposed to learn. That's where I learned. I learned my other stuff somewhere else, but then I got told NNA stuff like, okay, this is how you notarize. And I think that they're kind of being a little bit disingenuous when they're talking to you. You know, either that or they don't understand what was told to them, which maybe there's some kind of complication there. But the fact is, like, somebody saying they don't know how to notarize something when everyone's telling you, other than these fly-by-night people, I know that they're not. I would argue that they're probably not. They're just saying, like, the random people who came on to go and do this kind of stuff. But I would think that every person who was out there, like a bigger time person, all these people, Notary Stars, LSS, Bill Soroka, everyone's telling you exactly the same thing. You still need to go and do this. This is extremely imperative. The problem is, I think that they just bypass that, because all they see is, oh, I'm going to make some money. I'm going to, and not learn that. Like, anything you got to learn, no matter what you are trying to do. Then you said it, the Q said it, Ishmael said it. Anything we like try to aspire to do, you got to put your effort forth. People in the chat say it, but I think that some of the people are calling you are just like, they're doing a disservice to us as well, in the sense of they're not taking it seriously. You said it time and time again. Don't come just call me. Like, I want to, like, when I grew up, it wasn't just call me and tell me about like problems. What is the solution? What are you thinking about what the solution could be? Don't just come to me with a problem. That's how it works in in W-2 world, you don't just get to say and complain. Oh, I don't know this. Why don't you know this? If you have the avenues, you just choose not to. I've worked with plenty of people where the stuff, we all started around the same time, not like I had more expertise than they did, and the information was out. We would have forums. Like, for example, I used to work at Lowe's for a few years as like a security manager. We had a forum that literally had wealth of information. It was like 10 years plus of information. All you had to do was go there. So everyone would say, hey, Copernicus, how do you know this? Because I freaking read. It's like right in front of us. Like, it's not hard. Like, literally just go and do it. But I think that the people are, there's too many lazy people. It frustrates me to no end, because like I see the wealth of knowledge that you provide. Like, you guys all provide like great knowledge. I took a look at your stuff the other day, Q, I wasn't on a live, but I saw after that. I'm like, dude, he's providing value to the people. But like so many people, Ismail, I saw your thing the other day as well. I pulled up when you're talking about streams of revenue other than like what you can do as a notary. So I look at other people like as well who I think are like helping the community. But I just think there's too many people out here want to like complain, and they say somebody didn't tell me this. Give me a break. Seriously, nah, that doesn't work for me. It just doesn't like work for me at all. That frustrates me. And I'm like, and I feel bad that you've had to like take on the calls, like a whole bunch of these calls, because it shouldn't be that way. It really should be. I get it that maybe somebody didn't tell you exactly from A to Z, but literally all you have to do, like, it's funny to me. And like, I've been in Facebook groups, the people asking questions, and I'm just like, dude, do you know how to Google? Like, we're in freaking the internet phase. Literally just type it up. Like, if you go on there, like, if you didn't know, okay, notarizing, you can really just put notarizing documents in whatever state you want to, and you're going to get a wealth of information. Start digging in, filtering through what's on there. And it's just now this, I don't know if it's not just this culture, you know, and in the sense of like just notaries in general, but it's just people just lazy. And it bothers me. It really, really bothers me, because it really shouldn't be that way. When we know there are going to be people who are going to be lazy, but it just seems like we have a proliferation of laziness like now, and people don't want to do any work. Just give me this, hand feed me the answers, feed me the answers. And then like, it doesn't work in their favor, and then they get all pissed off. I'm like, dude, like, go. Like, if you learn what you're doing, regardless of what it is, if you're providing something and say, go to my video, you'll see the answer. If you still have questions, okay, then come back to me. That's a valid thing to do for anybody who's teaching. But it's just like, they don't want to go and spend the time because it's not there. You talk about Jaspreet Singh, you know, minority mindset. You look at the comment section. Oh, I liked it when your videos were this shorter, where they're only like 10 minutes long versus an hour long. Dude, the guy's trying to teach you and educate you, and you don't want to learn. Get out of here, dude. That's my soapbox for the day.
Yeah. Well, hold on a sec. Hold on.
I think that's that on that.
Yeah, that's definitely it. That's definitely it, man. Look, man, I just hope I just wish you guys all success this year, fellas. Like, just remain consistent in everything that you're doing. Like, always, be open-minded. Don't get to the point where you are becoming complacent. Because as soon as you become complacent, that's you failing at something. Don't take the easy way out. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. We all know how. Everybody have their own life. We all go through our own trials and errors. But at the end of the day, you have to remain consistent. You have to do what you need to do for yourself, for your family. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, you have to put in the work. You put in the time and effort to do it. If you have to adjust your schedule, do that. If you have to wake up early in the morning, do that. But, the main thing is, like I always say, it's all about your mindset. Once you have the proper mindset, there's nothing that you cannot manifest, So I really, wish nothing but great success for you all today, for the rest of the year. And everybody who's watching, I know it sounds simple, the same thing you've been hearing as a kid. If you believe in yourself, you can do it. Guess what? It's the same rules applies, how you go into a situation will determine your outcome. If you go in there with a negative mindset, then you're gonna have a bad outcome. If you're going there with a positive mindset, when things get rough, you're going to know why you start and why it's important for you to keep going. So that's all I have to say.
And I will say this here in closing. One of the things, if you think about this, how a person is introduced into an industry determines how they operate in that industry. Remember the cartoons back in the day, Tom and Jerry with the duck. The baby comes out, and the first person they see, mama, and it's like, I'm not your mom, I'm a cat. Mama. The way and what Comprentice was saying is correct, but the way a lot of these folk was introduced to the business was not fully correct. They was introduced at the glitz and glamour of the amount of money, but not of the practicality. And then if you get inside of the training systems that are out here and the training lessons and modules and all of that, the practicality still isn't taught. It's the set up a Google page, set up a website, set up this, set up that, how you get your mobile disc, your banners, your gift cards, and all of the aesthetics. And then they go into, oh, now this here's a few little things about being a notary. So if you look at what you've been educated in, so if 100% of the marketing is make money, and then 90% of the education is how to make money, this is why people are telling me I don't know how to notarize, because that is overshadowing. That's the main thing that's been in their brain, and there's too much of that in their mind on how to get a My Google page and set up a My Google page in 15 different zip codes, and not how to notarize. And then when you get all of then when the smoke clears and you're sitting in front of the documents with the customer, oh, I don't really know what to do with this. I might have been taught, but I've been told the most important thing is all of my marketing, all of this and all of that, and hooking up here and going to this meeting and going to that meeting, going to this conference, going to that conference. That's what's been pushed to me. But none of the true what I'm supposed to do has been, oh, well, you should have figured that out when you went to your state. But I, like one lady told me, I didn't even know how to find my state handbook. And she was a notary for over a year and never thought of Googling her state handbook. And I went up there in the members only thing, and within 2 seconds, boom, here's the state handbook. I never knew that. So this is what's going on. So what I'm saying is, if you overshadow people with the wrong information, or you don't fully disclose the other side of it, then when it comes times for them to execute, they don't know what to do. So you get somebody talking about, when you finish college, you're gonna make all this money as this molecular engineer, but they never taught them how to do a resume. They never taught them interview skills. And when they got it, they're like, okay, you got your degree, but you don't know how to sit still in the interview. You keep fidgeting and looking at your phone the whole time and playing on Facebook and stuff. So that's it. All right, y'all. I gotta go. Somebody just called, said they're in trouble. They need my help on something. So I'm gonna help them out real quick. They're having a print problem. Their documents is coming outside. The documents are showing vertical on the computer, but it's coming out printed sideways. And everything.
Yeah, have fun with that.
So I'm about to hop on the Zoom with them real quick and see if I can get that figured out.
All right, Griff. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
You guys have a great night.
All right,
guys. Take care.
All right, party people. Thank y'all for everything again. Y'all have a fun. I ain't after nobody. Nobody's after me. We're all in this together. We're going to have fun, enjoying ourselves.